welcome. You are now watching Rebuild Day. Yay, in the Reset community. This is our second part to our two-part live event. Declutter Day was last Saturday, and today is Rebuild Day. So we broke it down, and then we're building it back up. Hello, everybody. Hi, my friends in the chat room. I see all your lovely faces. Hello, my friends. Hello. Hi. So if you're watching this as a replay viewer, as many of you do, welcome to my channel. I often do a lot of live events during the month for different things like Playbook, for doing chapel, and for doing fun events like this. So this event is preparing you to have a very crafty 2020, and also immediately preparing us for the Harmony Retreat, which is just, it's already, that whole thing has just left the train already. So I'm going to talk about that in a second. So I'm so happy to see all your faces in the chat room. So many faces. Hello, hello. So I just want to remind my friends in the chat room, if you see a blue wrench next to your little name, that means you have the power to smote. That little blue wrench squad means that you can remove people from the chat room who are not well behaved. And if you are in the chat room, I would so appreciate it if you could like this video, which means if you are on a phone, you need to get out of the chat, go like the video, and come on back into the chat. If you are watching it on your TV, you might see 3 dots next to the title of the video, which would then allow you to, if you click on that, allow you to drop down and like. The more likes a video gets, the more YouTube goes, oh, well, people actually like this. So we'll continue to kind of bump that up in the algorithm. So it's very, very much appreciated by me, because it helps get the video a little higher up and people being able to get it in their recommended. And it helps to increase the size of our community. It helps draw people into our awesome community and meet you guys, which is the best thing about the community. So today we are doing our Rebuild Day. And if you are ready to go, I am sort of your accountability partner in getting your space set up so you can switch this on, be watching while you work. That would be the purpose, the main purpose. But for many of you, you're like, I cleaned during the week, I'm all set up. I was happy with my choices beforehand. So you can simply follow along, watch with me, talk with me, chat with the ladies in the group. Thank you. So yes, you might notice that there are a lot of quality changes that are more reminiscent of our lives from last year. Mr. Crafty has been working hard at getting a whole new camera set up, whole new stuff going on. So now things look better, sound better, are better all around. And I am going to be doing a tour of my space so you guys can see from my perspective what I'm looking at and all the fun stuff that I have set up so that you can see. I am in a small space, so this is something that you might be able to take some ideas from, which would be awesome. Some of us have beautiful craft rooms. Some of us have a little desk in a corner of a room. I am in the back of a 40-foot RV. We specifically purchased this RV for this little space. There are only so many of these RVs. It is no longer manufactured. So that was a huge selling point in when we went to look for an RV, was this specific spot. So it is in my best interest to keep it, you know, really nice, neat, updated, usable, workable. And I'm going to show you all of that, how I have set up my space. So I do want to run over just a few housekeeping points so that you guys are all up to speed on what is going on currently. Today is Saturday, the 11th. Today is the very last day you can get early bird pricing for the Harmony Retreat. I repeat, today is the last day for early bird pricing. The Harmony Retreat launched last Saturday on sale, so today's the last day, and then the price bumps up a little bit. It's not significant, so don't feel like it's the end of the world if you can't meet the early bird price. But I would really encourage you to take a look at the sales page and go through all of what we're going to be offering. It is available on theresetgirl.com. You can go there, click the link that says, well, there's a big old graphic that says the Harmony Retreat, and you would be able to click that and read on about what is happening at this winter adventure that we are going to be rolling out. If you have participated in Camp Reset in the past, this will feel very reminiscent. It is more geared towards self-care and really helping you to embrace the concept of harmony. It is my word for the year, so I have really rolled it out in a big way. I'm embracing harmony. It's not something that I have really felt like I've lived. I don't feel like I have a personality that seeks harmony. These are all things that are going to grow me as a person, I'm believing. For those of you who are harmony seekers, you guys are peacekeepers. That's what you are in your relationships and your marriage. It's just the dynamic of your personality. I salute you. I hope to be more like you. So this is going to be a wonderful year for that, and we're all going to kick this off together in the Harmony Retreat. And basically the premise of the retreat is just that I'm going to show you some little tricks and tools that I have done myself, have researched, I'm going to be putting into practice, into what I am calling, I have to give it a cute name, right? I'm calling it the Harmony Handbook, which is essentially a notebook. So I'm going to be putting some fun stuff in here that we're going to build this into a tool that is going to become like a partner to you. It's going to become a partner for your physical health goals, your mental health goals, and all of which contributes to your overall emotional health. It contributes to just like your wellness in general. And most of us are crafters. Most of us are creative type people. So the tools in here are geared in a creative way. They're geared towards helping you in your creative life, which will spill over into other areas of your life, therefore helping you to have this big holistic feeling of harmony, or at least helping you get there. I know there's a lot of things we can't control that happen in life, and there's some things, you know, if you have a lot of kids don't behave harmoniously. Let's face it, they don't. You have to kind of like wrangle them into that. And there's a lot of things, you know, that you can be doing on your own to create more of a harmonious environment. I am actually doing those things. I am adulting. I'm beginning the process of adulting better. These are things that I did not actually do at all in the entire time I've been the Reset Girl. I have been a really crummy adult. So I'm going to learn how to manage a household better. I'm going to learn how to do meal planning better. These are things I've made attempts, but I've never been able to keep everything like humming together, you know, like budgeting, all of it. Some of you girls are like just superheroes at it. You just like, this is your thing. So I have fallen in love with a couple YouTube channels. I actually invested in buying like myself a workshop called, I think it's called the Busy Budgeter. I'm super excited about this. Like I can see this happening. And with all of the changes we're making here in the Reset Girl world, I am starting to see like my workload become more normal, and then be able to balance all of the other things like my health and going for walks, and just I want to walk the talk. So this Harmony Notebook and the Harmony Retreat is kind of kicking off that new lifestyle. Where it leads us, we do not know. It could become a series. It could become a series of workshops. It could become a membership. I don't know. I just know that I'm very excited to like try to wrap my head around all the different little components. And whether you have, you know, you're an empty nester, there's always room for balance in our lives. There's always room for taking care of ourselves. And so self-care is really the focus of the Harmony Retreat. And that is, today is the last day to get early bird pricing, but it will remain on sale all up until I think the day, or probably a few days after camp launches. Or I'm sorry, I used the C word there. Retreat. Retreat. This is a soothing, quieter experience. You're not going to be running around like a little 12-year-old girl, but we're going to be like just calm. We're not going to have as much of activities going on. We're going to have a smaller, simpler format, and something that hopefully is more bite-sized, and you can really get in there and begin to make changes. So last summer I did a junk journal jamboree after Camp Craft ended. I'm considering doing like that for this project. There's a lot of excitement around this for me personally, because it's heralding in a new era for me personally. And you know, when you care about people in your life, you often want to like pull them into what you're doing. So that's where I'm at. I'm considering like where this could go for us as the Reset, because when you think about the Reset community and what I stand for and telling you it's never too late to reset your life, this is one of those things about resetting your life. And you don't have to be in the season of raising children and having a busy family for that to be true. The resetting can happen at any point. And so it's something I'm embracing. I'm super excited. If you are already signed up for the Harmony Retreat, thank you so much. And yesterday I sent out the supplies list page to all of you, and that would be in your inbox. So you will see a really spanking new page. You will see that the supplies is basically a notebook, a pouch, and then some other suggestions that I offered. Again, I always tell you guys, shop your stash first. Before you go buy something new, shop what you have first. You will probably get 98% of what's on that list from your own supplies if you're anything like me. Also, in case you were unaware, the new 2020 winter edition of the Crafty Club Playbook is available, and there is now a cool workshop with it for $10 more. Which will help you get it all set up. This to me is a component of self-care. It's an easy button for crafting. If you have no other time on your plate to be doing card making or traveler's notebooks or documenting, you have a more easy button, easier approach to some of like the crafting techniques that you can do in your book. And then at the end of the season, you have something fun to look at. You can throw in pocket pages and make it more documenty. So that is another thing that is available right now, all of which is on the resetgirl.com, and including we have a fresh new homepage, fresh new website, and we have a new feature at the very top of the website. It says what we're doing in the Reset community this winter. So every season I'm going to freshen up our seasonal page to let you guys know this is what we're doing. You'll be able to see, oh, this season we're not doing listers. You'll see what we're doing, and you can make the connection of what we're not doing. So we are not doing Listers Got a List this season. I wanted to do a more streamlined approach. We are focusing on the Playbook and Retreat. I don't want to overwhelm you with all of the things. So you will be able to easily see that. We have a new calendar feature that is beautiful and easy to read. You can see all of the calendar events in one swoop and click on each one. There's a link to get to the event when it's live. There are links to other parts of the website should you need to visit them. So we did a lot of refreshing and making that easier and more user-friendly, and basically jumping in and being part of the Reset community. You can easily go over our website and see all of the things that we offer and do here. So that's up there. And then finally, I have been posting on Instagram again, and I am doing what I'm calling the Harmony Challenge. So hashtag the Harmony Challenge. It is a super easy peasy photo challenge. There are only 20 prompts. You can do them in any order that you wish, and they are all geared to things like self-care, typical things we kind of do in January, winterish time, like setting goals, which you guys may notice I put on there twice. I don't even know how I missed that, because they're literally side by side. But you know what? I realized, but I loved goals and I loved talking about goals. So those are things like I could totally see myself posting. So I have been keeping up with it. I have been posting. The photo challenge is my bread and butter of how I started my whole Instagram channel. It's like I just jumped into those, and I was doing like 2 a month. So it's how I started on Instagram. And so coming back to it, I really felt like it would be a really good time to launch that in January as we were gearing up for the Harmony Retreat. So if you wouldn't mind following me on Instagram if you don't already, and consider jumping in, because it's such an easy peasy challenge. There's no pressure. You don't have to post every day, and you can choose whatever prompt is moving you when you go ahead and do that. So the very last little thing is the First Love Club. Our theme of the month is Surrounded, and I'm doing a special thing with our monthly challenge where I'm throwing in a weekly prompt in the First Love Club group on Facebook, where I am prompting you to like listen to a song, write out a definition, do a little journaling, sharing in the group. So I'm kind of like adding to our fun little scripture writing challenge that we do every month, which is free. You can find that on theresetgirl.com too. And you can participate in the group in a more involved way. So that is what's going on. That's all my housekeeping. If you want to be sure to not miss a live in the future, there are 2 ways to do this. You can text us and we will add you to our texting program. We do not send out advertisements or anything. It is simply to remind you, hey, Corey's about to go live in an hour. So to get on that, you want to text TRG to 94253. TRG to 94253. Thank you, Mr. Crafty. It is for the USA only. International girls, if you would like to join, you just need to download. This is a tip from another international girl. There is a What's Now? What is it? Text Now? I forget the name of it. Where's my thing? Oh, I have no. Is it Text Now, Mark? Yes, Text Now is the name of the app that you enroll in when you're international. And when you do that, they give you a US phone number, and that is what you use to enroll into text reminders here in the US. So that is the fun little, the workaround, let's say. And also we have another texting reminder program so that we can kind of separate things. And if you're interested in our faith initiatives, like our faith lives, which is Chapel Crafting with Corey Live, that is something that I will be doing in January. You want to text the word faith to 94253, and then we'll go ahead and send reminders of anything faith related to you if you would like to join that. So yay. So if there are any of you girls that are new to our live and are joining me for the first time, welcome. I am so excited that you're here. You are in a group now with 1 million wonderful, wonderful women. The reason why this community is so awesome is right here in the chat room. So thank you girls so much. So the again, if you have already signed up for the Harmony Retreat, I did send out the supplies list page yesterday. Be sure to check all of your folders, all of them. Spam, promotions, oftentimes we end up there even though you have enrolled and accepted the enrollment. It will still often send our stuff to spam, which it's not. It's super important stuff. So be sure to check all your folders. If you do not see it, then please email slapithi@theresetgirl.com, and the help desk will will respond on Monday with all of the information. So I think we're there. I think I've gotten through all of my reminders. And hello everybody again. hello. Yay. Maggie says that she's having so much fun in her playbook. I'm so happy to hear that. Hi, Miss Lisa Standard. Thanks for reminding everybody. Thumbs up. Like the video. I know it's not convenient or fun when you are on your phone watching me, but it sure would help support our community by doing that. It's a little bit of an imposition because when you're on your phone, you have to actually get out of the chat, go like it, and then come back in. I wish they made it simpler for people. And thank you, Miss Kelly. She says, your mug is everything. I'm sorry, this mug was like love at first sight. I saw it and I was like scrambling to get that in my cart. It's amazing. So, Miss Amanda, you if you just signed up today for the Harmony Retreat, it's totally fine. What happens is when you enroll, you start getting automatically all of the emails that everybody else got. So no matter when you sign up, you'll start getting everything. So it'll eventually show up. They're like set up to go like a staggered approach into your inbox. So Michelle says that the word search is stumping her. So there's a word search in here. And I have to tell you guys, I heard actually quite a few people mention the word search in here. We even got emails about it. So the word search is a tool that I discovered a few years ago, and I've been putting it into all the handbooks that I've done for camps. And then once we started doing the playbook, we started doing it here. These are automatically generated by this really cool website. So we put all the terms in there and it just kicks out a word search. So it's really cool. I think teachers probably use them a lot. It's why they exist. So we don't have control over how things like lay out. And apparently hot chocolate is, oh, Mr. Crafty says my pages are too bright to see. Sorry. I don't know how to make that better for you. Should I shadow it? Should I put like, oh yeah, that actually worked. That worked, Mark. Look, you guys, now you can see my, yeah, see? See, there's a word search in there. White pages don't do well on camera, I noticed. Okay, so hot chocolate is actually on 2 lines, I think. It's not all one straight line. For those of you who had issues with the hot chocolate may want to chime in on that one. So I'm sorry about that. There's no way to know. We don't get a key. They don't tell us, like, here's all your answers. Wouldn't that be lovely? So I actually have to do the word search myself to know. And I just haven't gotten a chance to do that. So, yay. Okay. So everyone's like, happy Saturday. We're all here. We're all about to jump in. Okay. So, yes. It's like a secret message page. So if you are having trouble with the supplies list page, some people saying, one person here saying that the purchase links aren't showing. I'm not sure why, because actually this page is kind of fancy. It's not like links. It's actually like images. You can actually see every single notebook that I am recommending to you and every single pouch. Like there's a little picture. So it's kind of it's fancy compared to how we normally do things. And I do have all the notebooks here on my desk, my little collection of notebooks that I'm going to have to find lots of reasons to use this year. So if you are just like, I would recommend trying to view it on a different device. Making sure your picture, like when you open things in email, sometimes you have to say like enable the images. It's so hard to know how to help people sometimes because all the different devices they have and all the different websites and all the different ways that things display, it's like so out of our control. Like we can't, I wish that there was like this universal way that everything displays. But when you have different phones and different sizes of phones and we have different things like different internet browsers, it's so hard because there's no common denominator. Everything is so different. So yes, Julia mentions that YouTube did it again, had my reminders on and notifications, and they failed to notify me. I agree. And I think it's weird that you subscribe to people, but they never show up in your recommended, like your own subscriptions that you've said, yes, I want to see these people. You actually have to click in a different screen. When you first open YouTube, it doesn't just show you the people that you've subscribed to or asked to be reminded that they would show you. So that's why our text program is foolproof, because I don't think Mr. Crafty's missed a text. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't think. So it's hard to say. Oh, I didn't know that Mr. T Mug was on Amazon. I didn't buy it on Amazon. I bought it, believe it or not, I bought it elsewhere. We get like a daily delivery practically from Amazon. I got it from a website, and now I don't know if the website I bought it from is like these are our mugs, but if they're on Amazon, that's probably easier than where I got it from. So I mentioned earlier, if you sign up for the retreat today, you will get all the emails. They just stagger. You'll get the one that say, hi, welcome, thanks for signing up, and then an hour later the next one should arrive. So no matter when you sign up all month long, you will get the same emails everyone else has gotten. They'll just start entering your little inbox slowly over the course of time. So it will be in your inbox. It has been sent out yesterday is when it got sent out. And then, it got sent out on the 9th. So if you signed up after I got it, it's okay because you'll receive it. We have an interesting little email system. So it knows. It knows to send everybody the little stream of emails. So today's show as you're putting things, tidying up your craft space. That's what the show is for. It is for you, my friend, to get yourself cleaned up. Now, why am I putting emphasis on that? So some of the things that I've noticed over time, being in the craft community, just knowing myself as well as I do, and knowing that many of you are like me. Many of you, we're very much a group of women who like to buy, to shop. Most crafters, we're consumers on some level. Even if we choose to be like, I'm going to do all my shopping at the thrift store or the art supply, like what is that place called? The recycling center. Even if you try to be all earth friendly in every way about it and just be upcycling and all that, you're still consuming things. You're still gathering. We're little hunters and gatheresses is what we are. Gatheresses. I'm trying to say S's, like goddesses, gatheresses. Hunteresses. We are, sorry, Megan's comment just she said, can I just say how squishy the graphics are for the Harmony Retreat? I want to print them all and use them in my retreat space. That is adorable. They are squishy and fluffy. So fluffy I could die. I definitely, we definitely put a lot of like squishiness into the Harmony Retreat because that's how we want you to feel. We want you to make your little space bright and beautiful. And that's what we're doing. We're honing in on what's really important, what will help you, taking perhaps a minimal approach to like creating basics and creating a space that will draw you in and not make you feel like, just to create, I have to go shovel off my desk. So last week's decluttering session, which you can watch as a replay, you can watch it again and again. And today's show, which is more about showing you the after effects and helping you have accountability to be working on your room as we speak. I wanted to show you what I did. Now, here's the truth. The truth of the matter is I didn't really need to declutter. I really didn't. I had actually already spent a lot of time over the course of the year doing that previously. And I could have totally skipped that and just, focused on my priorities in life, which are really the Harmony Retreat itself. But my feeling in my heart is I really know as a little kid how hard it was to declutter and work on my room unless I had my mom like sitting right practically on top of me, making me do it. And so what I felt was helpful, and I made it a community-wide event. I didn't just do that for people who signed up for the retreat. I want that for everybody. I just wanted to do something to kind of help get you in the spirit and make you think about things. I tried to share tips and ways of looking at your stuff in a different way to make you really help you process through that, because I know what we do is we have good intentions. We buy craft supplies because we have the good intention of like, I want to make this craft I've seen on Pinterest. I want to be crafting all the time, every week. We have good intentions, but I think when it comes down to it, where the rubber meets the road, you're at a crossroads. Do I binge Netflix with my family, or do I separate myself and go spend time in my craft space? Do I go out, go have fun? Which I'm not sure I ask myself that much as an introvert, because as an introvert, staying home is fun. But but do I go out, spend time doing this, or do I go go craft in my space? Do I choose? What choices do you make? I often choose not to create and craft. I will be completely honest with you. Even if my space is lovely, that isn't something I have been wired to choose. It's not something I gravitate towards. I think some part of me, ever since doing the Reset Girl, has kind of adapted all of this to like, it's my job instead of it's fun. Now, there are times I'm having lots of fun, and especially when I do lives with you guys and I'm crafting, there's things I do, in the spur of the moment, in that just, what would you call that? More like organically, that I'm like, wow, oh my gosh, this is so fun. I'm going to keep this up. I'm going to keep crafting this way, creating this look. I'm going to expand on this. So I know it's good for me. It's like exercise. It's like taking vitamins. Crafting is like an essential part of our day. It's a nutrient, if you will, for self-care. If I have to look at it that way, and I think part of it is some of us feel guilty or it's self-indulgent, or it's selfish, like the kids need my attention, or they need this from me, or my husband needs this, or I've been putting off these things, so therefore I need, my house needs to be beautiful before I can craft. The kids, everything has to be smooth and perfect for them before I can craft. I have to have all of my work done. The project must be gleaning. I must have meal planned. I must have done all of these things before I can craft. I think some of us we put the crafting on this back burner as if it's, well, when I get this all done, then I can craft. And I understand a lot of us are wired that way, to like, we put off the play because we need to work and get this done. My mother is a perfect example of that. In my childhood, my mom, she was always working on a project or something in the home. She did not feel comfortable ever breaking away and just playing with us as kids, like for a little bit, like a board game or anything. I don't have any memories of that, because in her mind, she could not allow herself to like read a chapter of a book or anything until this was done. And to this day, she's like that. Now, I am not like that. I can sit in rubble in my room and read a book. That has a lot to do, I think, with just that wiring that we have. INFPs, we can ignore mess or clutter to absorb ourselves in a book or a project, and we're okay with it. We can live with it. Are other people horrified? Like, oh my gosh, how can you live in this clutter and be reading? I don't know. My brain's like, oh, I need it. Sorry. I need to get away. So, yay. So I see some of you are like, yes, I've been organizing. I need to get organized. There are many people who talk about decluttering. There's many people who have strategies for decluttering. I think decluttering is different for different personality types. I think some people declutter very efficiently and they don't have as much emotion tied into their decluttering process, because their goal always is to be kind of like the zero inbox, the clutter-free zone. Some people are kind of, they can ride both sides, and then there's other people that are just like, they're comfortable in some level of clutter. They're comfortable with those things because they don't operate with this, I must have all of this complete before I can reward myself. So just talking broadly, there's different thoughts out there about how to declutter and how you can work through the process. One thing we're going to talk more about in the Harmony Retreat, and I'm absolutely obsessed with this concept lately. So like, write this down somewhere, write it in your notebook. There is a thing what is called decision fatigue. And I think it explains so much of like how we operate throughout our day. I've been reading all kinds of things about it. So decision fatigue, like pretend you wake up and you have this much in your tank, in your brain, that allows you to make decisions throughout the day. And every decision you make, no matter how small or large, it begins to deplete your decision tank. Those decisions could be, which earrings go best with this dress? Should I wear those shoes or those shoes? Should I let Jane wear that today as she runs out the door? Should I put this in the kids' lunch, or should I do this? All those tiny decisions. Should I pick up Starbucks, or should I just get myself to work? They all begin to chip away at this amount of decision power you have. And oftentimes it's why we can start out our day so good, like when we're trying to eat healthy and do the right thing. And by the time dinner time rolls around, we start making worse decisions, like I'm just going to run through the drive-thru, because we have depleted our decision-making tank. So some people, some amazing brain power people, made choices in their life so that they would not be using up their precious decision-making power on stupid decisions. One famous person who did this was Steve Jobs. It is the reason Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every single day to work. Jeans, a black turtleneck, and a certain pair of sneakers. This was his uniform. He did not deviate from it. And he said many times it alleviated one decision out of his morning that he didn't have to think about, is what am I going to wear? I can't believe the what am I going to wear or what am I going to eat are my two biggest decisions that take up precious brain power. So I bring that all up to say that whatever you can do to keep that decision-making power strong for important decisions, and try and preserve that is really a goal. Like, play a game with yourself with it. So how can you get rid of the easy decisions? So some of the things, like when I was looking around my space, I was really trying to think about is running through the questions in my head about some of the things on my desk. And a lot of it was based on how I'd set things up from the very beginning, how everything had been set up in my room for pretty much for the entire time that I've been in this RV. And I just stopped kind of asking myself, well, why do I do this? Am I really using all these things? Have I really used this item? And I'll tell you, Teresa says, if you throw something away, you'll need it tomorrow. It is so funny to me how often that is our greatest fear, especially as crafters. This one thing I'm going to part with, it will end up being the thing I'm looking for tomorrow. And I can say that truthfully because this item right here, which I have owned this item as long as I've had these two things are two items that I walked out of the last job when I lost my job and I went through my reset period, now going on 12 years ago. That's how long I've owned these two items, okay? And I was like, I never reach for this. I never use this. I'm just going to, and the next day, I was like all about, where is this? It would have been the perfect thing for this one project that I'm now working on. So last Saturday, I talked to you guys about having like stages where you kind of move your products from, let's say, not in the immediate around you, but you move them into like an intermediate box where it becomes a bin or a basket or something you can store under your bed, in a closet, in your garage, so that you haven't quite gotten rid of it and you're helping yourself move towards that end goal. But you see, how many things did I really put away that I actually am concerned about finding today? And Heather just mentioned, she says, my biggest issue is that I've been paying bills in my creative space. I need to take the bill paying away from my creative space so it will stop bringing me down. How many of you guys used your space double duty for other things? Things that are probably not pleasant. Heather, I think that is a really great point, that oftentimes you can associate your space, because we're in an RV, my creative space is my workspace too. This is where I conceptualize camp. It's where I make tons of notes. It's where I'm working on my computer has to share space with all of my fun stuff. I also have cameras all around me too. So it's very worky in here. It doesn't feel like, you know what I mean? So I get that, that's for some of you, it's a little unavoidable, but I would say anything that is mobile, like that you can take your, bill paying into another room, or anything like studying. Some of you guys are in school or have to grade paper. Some of you are teachers. Anything like that that can be done apart and separate from your special space. Make it feel sacred. Like, thou shalt not do anything in this space but craft. It is for many of us, our decision making power is absorbed a lot at work, and that's just something you can't avoid in order to be good at your job. Is like, that's what they rely on you for, is your decision making power. So where you can put decision making into kind of like an easy, like downshift into easy, and that's why people create systems for themselves, like routines, and they make like meal planning and budgeting and all, like home management. They try to make that very smooth because they want to just really keep the decision making power for, as much as possible for their job. So anyway, I've just been really obsessed with this idea and thinking, like, how can I roll that into the Harmony Retreat? How can I continue to remind you of that throughout the year? How can I be your advocate and kind of really help you, because when you come to the Reset community, I want you to feel a bit of a respite. I want you to feel a bit of a, okay, this is my fun place. This is the happy place. And there's your little crafty coach, Corey, to kind of like, here's a tip. Here's an idea. We're going to do a live event to help you with this, because I can relate and appreciate to what you guys are going through. You do not have creative full-time jobs. So you go off to like, adulty jobs, accounting and systems management and HR and teaching kids during the day. So this is your little escape hatch. This is your little place that is different from your adulty world. And that's why it matters so much to me to kind of like help shape what the content in here and what I provide to you and offer to you is helping you in keeping your little sacred space in shape, using it. That's why we have, certain tools and things that I'm creating for you to help keep you engaged, because there are so many things that will try to divide you from your sacred space. And in addition to that, oftentimes some of the things you're going through, like some of you deal with depression and anxiety and a lot of health issues that already make you feel crummy. So those are things like having a harmony retreat is to help kind of like, let me provide some ideas to you that perhaps you can put in your notebook and then work on those as like a little task. Be like, okay, this is going to be this little place that I go to solve this problem that I always have. And some of us feel demotivated, so crafting isn't something we come to. So my job this year is to really try to get you guys very engaged in your crafting, and how can I help you make that easier? So that's what the Harmony Retreat is really going to help. Really, that's my goal. And then throughout the year, I will continue doing that. And that's why we're kicking off January with declutter and rebuild. So that's what we're here doing this. So I don't want you guys running off and spending a bunch of money. That's not my goal. I know I have seen fantastic ideas for organization that was using cereal boxes, snack boxes, little boxes that granola bars come in, packaging that you normally comes into your house just because you guys are consumers and eaters like me. So you can start at that level where it's like, I just want the basics of organization. I'll use toilet paper tubes, and we've all seen those kinds of crafts on YouTube. So there's ways of creating simplicity, but then a part of it is you really need to be honest with yourself and what you are keeping or holding on to or enveloping yourself with. So how I started this process for my Rebuild Day is I really thought about what are the main projects that I want to focus on this year. Like right there, as a crafter, I just stop for a second. Everybody stop what you're doing and just think about that. This year, what are the main crafting, creative projects that I just want to focus on? Some of you are Bible journalers. Some of you are art journalers. And when I say art journaler, I mean like a legit, I throw paint and gesso and a collage, and I have paint smeared. I'm talking about high level art journaling. I've for those of you who didn't know what it was before, I've kept art journaling very, very simple and easy. I'm not getting all complex with how complex it can be. So some of you are up there in that level. I love smacking the wet stuff down on my paper, layering. I mean, it can be complex. Some of you are into mixed media. Some of you are sewers and knitters, crocheters. All of these things, some of you are scrapbookers, need to add that in there. And then planners. Some of us opt to join challenges that involve crafting different things. So I want you to really just think for a second, if I was going to devote my time into anything this year, what would that be? And depending on the season that you are in, some of you are very pressed for time. So you need to be honest with yourself. If all you can manage this year is you know what? This is where I'm at this year, is me and my Crafty Playbook. This is as difficult as I want it to be. I'm not going to worry about, using paints. I'm not going to be super ambitious. I'm going to be realistic. This is what I have time for. My husband or I are in school. In addition to both of our full-time jobs, our kids are involved in sports. This is a very busy year for us. So I'm going to manage my expectations and say, this is all I can manage. Or maybe this is all I can manage is a simple notebook. And maybe I'll have time to use up my stash and put some die cuts in here and some washi and treat it like a Crafty Commonplace book. And there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe some of you are you know what? All I have time for is just to check my planner. Maybe I can slap some washi in there. Maybe I can add a few die cuts or some stamps. So I really think that it starts with what can you focus on this year? I loved the junk journal. Last year, that was my thing. Like doing that in camp, I carried that all the way forward to the end of the year. I was still doing that junk journal process. Then my junk journal was so huge that I had to break it down into components. So here's all the pages from my junk journal that ended up in an album. So now I have all of that stuff in here. So I know like this binder, which is all my faith stuff, like I want to keep adding to this. I want to keep putting, whether I choose to do my challenge like in a little book or do it in here, I know that like my scripture writing is something, let's just call it that. My scripture writing is something I am willing to invest in. My playbook is something I'm willing to invest in. Even I have to really be focused. I can't do everything. And I keep buying things, or I keep planning on doing projects, but I never get to them. So I might like buy a bunch of things because I'm going to do this project. But the truth is this isn't the year for that. I just have to tell myself next year you can swap a new craft in. You don't have to do all the crafts this year to be crafty. So much like with one of the techniques of meal planning to make it very simple is you kind of stick to the very similar meals and then you switch them around. So like this week's menu is this, and then second week menu is this, and then the third week I repeat the first week again. I mean, some people do stuff like that. I want you to picture this like meal planning. I can only afford to eat, so many calories and buy so many ingredients. So I'm going to stick with my playbook, my scripture writing, and the other thing, this technically is my Harmony Handbook until I kind of rebuild it in a new book. So my Harmony Handbook, and then, let me get it. And I'm going to be continuing to work on my vision board pages. So these are kind of my job for my outlets for the whole year. So as I came up with my list of what I wanted to focus on, I'm like, this is it. I don't care what anyone else rolls out on Instagram. I don't care what anyone else announces they're doing. I know my limits. These are things that I can talk about, share on my YouTube. These are things I can share and talk about on my Instagram. So this is going to be my focus, and I'm going to stay in this wheelhouse. So what do these items involve? What do I need to have for these things? I need to have glue sticks. I need to have a pair of scissors. So I start going down the list of what are the common denominators. This particular project requires pocket pages. This particular project requires pocket pages. So I need to have a little bin of pocket pages that are really easy to reach for. Another thing that I did during the Crafty Christmas live event was I made a cajillion 6x4 little things of paper. This is actually brilliant. I cut up my paper into 6x4 rectangles. I reach for these now, I notice, because so many things like I could do in my handbook. Let me grab. Is I could just make an easy collage, and every collage would start with a 6x4 rectangle. So as I began to layer things on it from my stash, each one becomes unique and different because of what I'm reaching for, but they all start with one common denominator, which are these little rectangles. So, someone says, oh, bye Cindy Myers. Sorry you have to go to work. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at just checking the chat room really quick. So, so Tiffany, here's an excellent point. She says, I'm all over the place in my crafting and I get frustrated because I can't find my groove nor my style. So those are excellent topics, and things like I would love to do a video about that topic, because these are the things I think that really plague crafters, but nobody really talks about them. Because the assumption is that each crafter, everyone has a YouTube channel or has an Instagram channel. We're just showing you what we're doing. Like, this is what I'm doing. And then you, as the viewer, the person watching, has to decide, well, oh, that looks so fun. I want to do that. And then you get things, and a lot of us do that. We go buy things because I'm going to do that. But then when it comes down to doing it, well, I don't really know how that person did that or got there, and mine doesn't look like hers because my supplies are different from hers, and I'm not loving it. So you abandon it pretty early, I would say. I mean, no, that's just how I am. I abandon things pretty early in the process if I'm not feeling it. So I feel like what I do is a lot of research. And one of the things, Tiffany, that I really do is I study what you're saying is like, what is the style that what do you gravitate to? If you were to just to look at all the things you like on Pinterest or on Instagram, do that for a week. If you spend any time on Instagram, save the pictures of the craft layouts or whatever that really speak to you. And then after a certain period of time, look at them and what do they have in common? What are the things that I seem to be drawn to? These are questions I asked myself because I didn't know either. I didn't know what my style was. I didn't know because I did most of my work in a planner, and it was like in the corners and the edges. There wasn't really I wasn't really putting things in the middle of the page or doing stuff. But I had so many pinned pictures to my Pinterest boards that I could take the time to scroll through them and go, what am I looking for? What is the common denominator that I always seem to pin these particular things? And I made a vision board with those images. And then I could kind of see, this is what I'm aiming for. This stuff is delicious. I love this. And I want to stick with this. So some people gravitate towards handiwork things like knitting or crocheting or sewing or embroidery. They love making the cross stitching. They love watching the needle come up. It's soothing. They love watching the feel of the knitting. It's a very tactile. Handicrafts are very tactile. You're feeling the fabrics, the yarns. You're watching the little picture come alive as you're doing things. People are very drawn to that. If time is not on your side, you really have to hone in on what is your thing. Do you like paper? Do you like the feel of the scissors and the cutting and all of that deliciousness? Those are things you might want to consider. Do you have to run out and go buy all kinds of expensive craft supplies? You can start kind of your process with pictures from magazines, pictures from most of us have some level of a scrap pile. I notice when I craft now, I don't reach for embellishments. You guys hardly ever see me use a die cut. I reach for my scrap stash. I reach for a box that's full of scrap paper and pieces of magazine ads and pieces of maps. This is where I start from. It's not reaching for a pack of beautifully designed die cuts that a scrapbook company made. It's stuff that's mostly paper and just things that look like the stuff you have left over after a craft session that you'd throw away. That's where I start with. And it's because I love collages. I love collages. That has always been my thing ever since I can remember. I love looking at how people assemble paper and just gluing paper. Paper is the simplest common denominator, the thing I love the most. If I didn't even have stickers to put on it, just images in the paper, that would be enough for me. There are so many collage artists that's all they do is they just manipulate paper a certain way and images. They might add some words in their own writing, and that's it. That's their whole career. And I personally love that. But you have to take a bit to really decide what it is you love. What are the things that catch your attention that other people do? And those are the things that you can work on and develop in yourself. So Lynn says she would love to have more conversations about this. So Kim says, I would love a what's your crafting style class. Okay. Okay, girls, I see the writing on the wall. Okay. So a lot of you, so Kathleen says she loves most crafts, but stitching is her favorite. And you know what? When I do a late night crafty club, or I do, a Playbook Power Hour, or any of the live shows, the Crafternoon with Corey, those are shows designed for community. They're designed for us to gather so you can chat with each other. You can just listen to somebody talk. I enjoy a lot of different YouTubers, listening to them just talk about different things. So if that's your thing, you can pull out your stitching and use that time it's the live's on in an hour. It's my stitching time. It's my craft time. It's my sewing time. It's whatever. That is merely a place on the calendar where you've designated that's the Reset Community Hour. And whatever Corey's doing or whatever the other girls are doing, this is the craft that I'm going to reach for. And I want to just make sure you guys know that. That is sorry, I have something in my eye suddenly. So that's what this whole, all the lives, you know, they're meant to support you guys in getting like 3 of them are dedicated to this book alone, just to help you get your book done, to feel accomplished. It's not like a task, like a test. It's to feel like you have someone to craft with, so you're not alone and you're more likely to reach for your book. So I want you to know that that's really the driver behind why we have so many live events. It's for this time for you to be at your little space and working in your books. So if that is a struggle for you at this point, is that you just really don't know what to craft, I would really ask yourself that question, is what do you feel most drawn to, and what are the things out there that you've seen that really float your boat? One of the things that I'm talking about today, right now, is something that I'm going to talk about in the Harmony Retreat, which is about taking those ideas that other people have created and helping you build a tool for yourself to really be like, here's my goal for the year in my creating, and here's where I'm going to use this inspiration to help me get there, because we all want to further our skills and abilities. It's the joy of crafting itself, but then it's furthering your skills and understanding of, how do I use these materials? What do I do? It's no different than learning how to cook a new dish. Crafting is very similar to recipes and cooking. Very, very similar. We're just not doing it over a stove. So, Robin says, paper is her first love. I blame it on living across the street from the post office and getting junk mail. All the time. All of us get junk mail, right? I hear Mr. Crafty coming.
I'm getting you the other camera for when you want it.
Oh, okay. He's prepping a camera for me because we're going to do a little desk tour. But I wanted to show you some of the really cool, items that I have kind of honed in on for some organization that I have loved. I've been using for a good 2 years. I found some less expensive alternatives to show you too, so you can kind of judge where you're at, what you have around you. Now, having traveled the U.S. from coast to coast, I have found that there's dollar stores in every state across America, and sometimes some towns have 3 or 4 of them. It's really amazing how the dollar store has really taken over our consumerism here in America. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought for a second. Okay, so I want to start at the top and come down my little list, kind of walk you through the big pieces down to the smaller pieces. One of the things I talked about last week, and also have reiterated, if you missed Declutter Day, you guys can always watch the replay on our YouTube channel. But something that I did kind of push more than I ever have before is really suggesting to you, if you do not have a designated craft space, to really consider establishing one. You can get a used desk or table. You can ask your family first, family, friends, anybody getting rid of a table or desk, and then move up the list. The next one would be trying local Facebook groups. Often have giving away groups, things that people just don't want, but they don't want to put into a landfill. So they'll do swapping groups. People often leave things on the side of the street. And then the next step up would be thrift stores, Craigslist, that kind of thing. And then, and there's a lot of groups out and platforms out there that I don't even know about that are all about trying to upcycle and recycle. So there's that level. And finally, the level of going into a big box store and purchasing one, which I have to be honest with you, I feel like a craft space is really nothing more than a tabletop and something to hold it up. So it was it can be very basic, like a table, and something that's not a tragedy if you get paint on it. So that's why, like, I have always been very much on a budget in my adult life. And so I'm used to buying things from the thrift store and does not bother me in the least. And something for crafting that you're not going to care necessarily about it getting painty, I think is more of an ideal target if you can make space for that in your house somewhere, in a closet, in a corner of a room. If you have a finished basement or anything like that, it's time to treat yourself to a tabletop. Just at that level. Let's just get to that level that you have a place where you can leave your stuff. You can walk away from it. You don't have to pack it up, put it away. Oftentimes when you do that on dining rooms, living room, coffee tables, you are setting yourself up for fatigue. Over time, you're not going to want to keep breaking it down, putting it away. It's going to bother you when it's laid out, but you're not going to really want to pack it all up either. You're always going to be in that conundrum. And the more you have to pack it up and put it away, it will wear you down to the point where you're not turning to crafting at all because, oh, it's just so much work. It's so much. I don't want to have to deal with all that. And who would? Who would want to deal with that constantly? So my question for you in 2020, if you do not have a designated space, is to really be honest with yourself. Can this be something that I can live with in the corner of the room for the sake of my peace of mind, my sanity, my creative gift, my self-care? Can I make this happen for myself? Because I deserve to have a place to utilize my crafting gifts. If you are not a crafter, like, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. You wouldn't sit through my 2-3 hour long lives if you were not interested in creating and crafting. What would be in it for you? So all of the videos and stuff that I do, if you are engaged, if you hear this message, girl, as your friend, your sister in crafting, this is something you really have to do for yourself if you do not already have that established. We're not even talking about a craft room. I don't necessarily have a craft room. And I'll be honest, I posted something on my Instagram channel the other day. I took a picture of like my cleaned space and I posted it. I have done more crafting and more like creating at this little tabletop that is a piece of plywood that my brother cut for me and my mom stained for me. I've done more crafting here than I ever did with my big, beautiful craft room that I used to have. I've had several beautiful craft spaces, and this is where the majority of my real creating has been done. It's a little cheapy piece of plywood and some cheapy pieces of like boxes sitting on it with my supplies. That's the truth. Craft rooms are gorgeous. I have a whole Pinterest board full of them, but the truth is when I had one, it didn't make any difference for me personally pushing me into crafting because I was in a bad space here. This is what needed to be fixed. And now that I'm past that, and now that I'm like, yes, I'm a creator and a crafter, I want that for you guys too, and I want to help you get through, like, at least get through the main objectives that keep us from crafting, and that's really just a place to do that and have it yummy. Michelle says her husband made a desk out of a door, 2 small bookshelves, and 2 table legs. There are a cajillion pictures of do-it-yourself desks or craft tables on Pinterest. The people are super creative in using things they found at the thrift store, and voila. If that's something within your husband's ability, a family member has a saw and knows how to use it, if those are things like you can barter for time of a family member or friend that can do that for you, if that's not within your a lot of us have sweeties or husbands that we can ask those things of, but if that's not the kind of guy he is, go outside your circle. Start going through the circle. If I bake you, 10 loaves of banana nut bread, would you cut my table? Whatever that person, everyone has a price. So if you can barter for that, if a budget, you're on a very strict budget and need to barter, I see no reason why you can't barter for it. So, but just know, like, I understand the pain. Living in an RV, having to pack up my things and unpack and repack. I have had the big space, the little space, a shared space with Mr. Crafty. At one point, we shared a master bedroom. He had half the room and I had half the room. So you guys have seen my YouTube channel. over the course of time has been in throughout all of these little spaces. Some of my videos you've seen have been in my big, beautiful craft room, but just know I did I did no crafting in that room other than what you ever saw on YouTube. That's the truth. So here, I feel like I've made myself, you know, a space that things are reachable, grabbable, and now I feel more desire to get in there and use that. So a lot of you guys are sharing little tips of things you've done. So if you're watching this as a replay viewer, I hope that like you could look in the chat room and see some of the things people are saying. It is possible to see the chat room. As a replay viewer, you have to enable the chat room if it didn't automatically show up, which it usually does when you open a live. The chat room will normally display itself, and you actually have to hide it to not see it. So as I speak right now, girls are posting in the group the things that they've been doing, taking out an old TV cupboard, an old barn wood, and made a doodle craft cupboard. So there are lots of, we already have just the one thing we need, which is a little tabletop. A lot of you guys use carts to have your stuff in. My mom, I used to have 3 of them. My mom now has one of them. She has her own little craft room with her little rolling cart. I had to ditch the carts because this is not really a cart kind of space, and I've had to figure out other ways to have products back here, which we've done with furniture that we bought from Home Goods, like a shelving unit here, a very inexpensive one that I was able to put my little bins on. But just know, like, I do not have an expensive setup at all. Everything here has been bought at discount stores or stuff I've had in my storage for many, many years. Stuff I've just held on to, thank goodness. So, but I wanted to go ahead and show that to you. I wanted to show you the very first of the items that I'm using for organization to keep things simple in my room. So I worked really hard after breaking everything down last Saturday. My room was a big old mess. And then I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Like, I can't work. I can't make the Harmony retreat in this big mess that I've made. So I had to spend like the entire day getting it all cleaned up, and that forced me to go, okay, well, maybe instead of putting it all back the way it was, why don't I go ahead and make some decisions right now about how to like make this better? And now I have this big monitor on my desk I didn't have before that I have to accommodate. So let's go ahead and work with like what space I have left after Mr. Crafty got all of his boy stuff set up on my desk. He loves it when I call it boy stuff. You hear him laughing there. Okay, so here we go. Oh, and by the way, there are a couple YouTube channels that I've been watching. One of them is Alicia something. I will link it below. But this one lady, she goes to the dump in her town, and I guess people, it's so weird to think people throw away furniture at the dump. I always think of like donation to a thrift store. Like, I would never take a piece of furniture that had life in it, like that wasn't like all falling apart, to the dump. But I guess people do. And maybe, I don't know, maybe there's reasons why they've done it that way. But she rescues stuff from the dump, and then she fixes it, she paints it, and then she resells it for buku money. And her channel is just like, it's so fun to watch her resurrect things, and it's really inspiring to see like all these great little pieces that could easily, a lot of things she finds are desks and stuff. So it's been really inspiring to watch that. So I'm going to link her video below, as well as another channel that does a lot of DIY stuff. And it just makes me remember my really early single mom years when I was like on welfare because I was going to college. So for almost 3 years I got a welfare check, and that check was just enough to pay my rent. So then everything else became a student loan. So during those years that's where I learned how to became a thrift store furniture shopper and a painter. So before there was Pinterest or anything to inspire me, I was like painting all my thrift store furniture, all the colors, all kinds of bright colors, because as an apartment renter, I always had beige, like white walls and beige carpet. So all of my little thrift store finds were always painted, just trying to brighten up my space and make it more fun. So it's really cool to watch younger girls have these DIY YouTube channels and then showing all their thrift store finds and how they resurrect them and stuff. So it's been very I find that to be inspiring. I like to have stuff like that on while I'm working or, you know, doing stuff in my little space back here. I love stuff that's just like creating. It's very soothing to me. All right, so the very first thing I wanted to point out to you guys in my quest for organization is I'm going to talk about the simple box, the simple wooden box. I showed this last week, and what this was originally is it came from the little garden department at like Home Goods or Marshall's. I always have to figure out a way to get the drawer, the little knob back in, because it's punched in there with little staples, and then when you pull it out, which I have to do to store it, this little simple wooden box becomes a fabulous little organizer depending on what you're putting in it. So I'm going to talk about these things in a minute, but I have a lot of stuff like this now in my room where I've taken a box and I've put plastic storage zip pouches, and they're clear plastic envelopes. They zip and they button both, and I have a whole little box of them. These little boxes, and you can find these at all of the discount stores. I have all different kinds of sizes and styles, but the wood boxes are the one thing I always go after because they're so easy to move around and to store things in. So I have different styles, and most of these all came from TJ Maxx and Home Goods. And they're inexpensive. They can range in price. I don't have the price tag on here. They can range in price from like $6.99 to $9.99. When they're really fancy, they might be over $10. But I have different types of them, and I have about 6 of them total, different sizes. Like this is one that's more fancy down here. It's like it has like a design on it. It has handles. It's a nicer wood. So depending on what its purpose is, those are the things I've started with, is a lot of these boxes. The other type of box, which these were from IKEA's kitchen area, was I have a lot of these. These were from my craft room. I have seen other companies take this same design. I think I've seen this style at the Container Store. I would, unless you have money to treat yourself, I would steer clear of the Container Store in general because it's a very expensive store for this type of storage. But unless you want to treat yourself and you deserve it and you want like the best of the best, then you do that. I have bought some things from the Container Store that are probably more budget friendly. But if shopping is a problem for you, I would steer clear of it because it's very easy to get sucked in there and end up buying stuff. We've spent a lot of money at the Container Store, so I don't recommend that as your first mode of organization, although it would make sense. It's very expensive, and I have found many of the things that they sell, I have found them in other cheaper areas, other stores. Even sometimes the same exact item in their store is like twice the price as a TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Marshall's Tuesday morning. So I just want to be honest about that because there are things I've purchased. I actually purchased a lot of these little clear zipper pouches, which I love so much. They are wonderful for organizing. They're super sturdy. When you go like on a vacation or travel and you want to take your stuff, it's really easy to set up. Like these are all like for journaling or like doing a diary. These are all like special bits of paper that I really love. It's kind of like a mobile scrap stash for me. I'll set these up by theme. These are all honeys. A lot of honeys are in here and some of the printables. I have another one. This is all stickers. So I have a lot of these little envelope-y things. This one is more stickers. These are actually more like for planner stickers. Okay. Mr. Crafty says these are all too bright. I guess that means you're going to have to fix the lighting in here because it's not easy to not show things the way I'm doing them. So I wanted to share with you a couple of things I hunted down. So stuff that I bought at the Container Store, which let's say one of the little clear zipper pouches, I may have spent like $3 on one pouch. I found dupes for them on Amazon, and then in some cases actually at the dollar store. So one of the dupes that I recreated was this little guy here. So it's a little zipper pouch. It has a nice little slidey zipper, and it is gusseted, so you actually have some space to put your stuff in, so it will actually spread out. You could put photos. It's pretty long, like some of our taller stickery things. Let's see here. Here's the Tim Holtz kind of sticker book here, which some of us have. So it's kind of on the tall side, so it would fit height-wise in here, and it would fit width-wise if you open up the gusset. So this is like, these are really great for like your sticker books or sheets if you were going to go on a quick trip, that kind of thing. But for storage is what I'm suggesting, like we were talking earlier about picking certain types of crafts. In some cases, there are certain things I'll use in one book, like my Playbook, that I might not necessarily use in all of my crafts. Maybe it's a certain size paper. Maybe this paper I made has a specific function, like I made it for this one thing. So this would be an example of something I would set up a little pouch for. If I was very limited in space, if I couldn't keep stuff out on my desk, this might be just something I use for storage purposes, as I keep it in this. And then this becomes something like it's almost like a file folder, and it becomes something that I would put in a box, and then I can kind of file through here, picking out, oh, here's my junk journal, here's my Playbook. You know, like each of these has been set up for a certain purpose. I find myself having these kind of like all pre-made, and these are things like if I were to go teach a workshop or go on an event like a Crafty cruise, or go do glamping, or anything or I'm going to go leave and go craft with a girlfriend, if I live somewhere where I had girlfriends to do that, that kind of thing. That's where I find myself having these kind of like pre-made envelopes that have jobs, a very specific task, and I have just kept them and organized them in here. Sometimes, like during a Playbook, like a show, like a live show, I might go, you know what, I haven't even reached for anything in this in a while. I'm going to grab this and challenge myself to use this one. You could do that. You could kind of like create little grab bags for yourself where you've put a bunch of ephemera, like take 4 envelopes and fill them full of different scrap stash ephemera, and just kind of like, it's almost like a Cracker Jack, like kind of prize, like, okay, this is the one I'm using today, just to mix it up, just to be kind of fun, just to challenge yourself. That's what you could do. So I keep this is why I pull the little handle off here, because it fits better on this shelf with that on there. So I have Mr. Crafty, if you look at the chat room notes that I made, I have links there. So this is one of the envelopes that I found on Amazon, and what's really cool, these are 5-inch by 10-inch clear, and it's a 12-pack for $22 with Prime. So this ended up being cheaper than the ones I was buying individually, or even a 3-pack at the Container Store, which is really the first place that I ever saw them. The quality of these is really nice. They use like a real thick vinyl to make them, so you can really feel that they're substantial. The other style that they had on there as well was this style. So these are like shorter and they're taller, but they've been punched. There's 3 punches here. So you could add binder rings to them and kind of have almost like a book of envelopes together. You could put them in a box, you know, like a file box or a shoe box, and then have them all ringed together when you need them and flip through them. They could be full of stickers, stamps. You could put ephemera in them, honeys in them. You could make each envelope have different types of honeys, different types of like whatever little papery products that you have. You can fill each of these with a different one and kind of keep them all ringed together if you wanted to. You could also just cut this off, which is what I intend to do. So I'm just going to cut them off and then just have, these are slightly taller and than the others, which I like. And then these will be another type of little clear envelope system of storing my ephemera. And this was another case where it was, they're called number 10 wallet booklet. They're a 6 by 9.5, and they're a 12 pack. And these are also on Amazon. So those were 2 of those. And then also at the Container Store, they had the large ones. And this is another size that I love, because this is for like putting your big sheets of paper in, like scrapbook papers. Big sheets of magazines that I tear out. So this could store the sheets I use for like doing my vision boards, like magazine pages. If you wanted to like harvest them or cut them up for words or images later, you could put a whole bunch of these together and then just have like, this is one of your little quiet activities you do with the family. If you choose to do Netflix instead of craft, well, you could have a bunch of envelopes full of craft papers that you spend that time cutting them up. You can store your Reset Girl printables in here, or any digital printable store. You could store them in here and put them in a file box and be able to sort through them. The zipper is really nice. They also had this available on Amazon in a pack of them, which I ordered earlier today. And they're on here. They're the letter size, Mr. Crafty. So there's this kind with a zipper, and then there's the kind that have a snap button style. So I ordered those. I did find a similar version of them at the dollar store for $1 each. The plastic is not as thick and nice as this. But if you were really on a budget, this would do in a pinch. And it also has a little zipper at the top. So they had different colors. This little strip was different colors, and these are also gusseted. These were in the section where all the school supplies are, so they did have them if you wanted to use them for storing magazine pages, ephemera pages, scrapbook pages. That's what these are really good for, I feel, is like your bigger pieces, especially if you go to a crop, if you want to go crafting with friends, if you want to go like outside. This is great for like being able to store your larger items. This can be slipped into a tote very easily. I highly recommend these particular envelopes I'm showing you, the smaller and the larger. They have been so instrumental in helping me keep organized. You could have, you know, your scrap stash, like you guys have seen me keep these big boxes I have. Well, I could break everything down in those into just a few of these and just pick one at random and just craft with this. So that is another recommendation I have for organization. Another fun thing I have is our little receipt file. I found these on Amazon. I've purchased 3 of them in the past. And what we were using them for was keeping all of our business receipts. So every month we would put the receipts for things we purchased while we've been on the road, so we didn't lose our receipts. But the other fun thing I've used these for, I'm going to do a whole video. I thought of 10 awesome ideas you can do with one of these things, so I'm excited for that. But how I've used it is like when I go on a trip, like traveling, I'll pick up ephemera, business cards, receipts, train tickets, and I put them in here. I also have a larger one for larger pieces of ephemera, but that way I can keep it organized by like what date I was going. If I'm that organized ahead of time, it's just having them all in here. But these are also awesome for organizing your smaller sticker sheets. Like this size of sticker sheet, I've used them for traveling. Going teaching workshops. I'll put my sticker sheets in here. Ephemera stamps can go in here, like the flat acrylic stamps. You can have a little file of these for that. And then these size, this is the, what I would call these. These are like a Mr. Crafty, do you remember what we call these? This is like a 4x6 sheet of stickers.
We call them quarter sheets.
Quarter sheets. And then all the little other extra things, library cards, ephemera, tickets, tags, all those types of things could fit in here as well. You could also keep honeys in here because they have little separation, little pockets in here. These are, I think, on Amazon, they're $6. The quality is really good. I've seen, now a lot of us have seen them in Target, Walmart. The quality of this particular brand, I really love. These are made in Japan. They did have a similar version at the dollar store because these are something that are super common. So the dollar store version has a little flap in the front that kind of sticks together like an envelope. It is not as robust, it's smaller, but as you can see, you can easily store pictures you've taken on your trip, postcards, receipts, ephemera, all that kind of thing. But this also makes really great crafting organization. And then you can have multiple ones, different colors. Dollar Tree is like, when you go in the store, they can be kind of limited in the color selection, I noticed. And I think they only had 2 colors available. I've seen them in Walmart or Target and have more of a selection, but these are wonderful for that. They also have what is considered more of like an envelope sized file folder. This one's kind of fancy. This also came from the dollar store, and this would be for something that's like taller pieces of ephemera, things I would put like for travel. I carry this size with me too for like larger things like maps, tickets, brochures, that kind of thing. So having some shoe boxes that you can decorate with craft paper, and then having them filled with these little envelopes can keep you very organized. You can label the envelopes with each craft project they belong to. So here's my Bible journaling ephemera. Here's my Playbook ephemera. Here's my art, art journaling. The other type of accordion, and I've shared this before, a lot of these things are actually on my favorites because I have been using them and loving them so long. So they have this really cool accordion file folder, which is large, on Amazon too. And why I like it is it's actually taller, like wider than your typical accordion files. And it's wide enough that you can actually put a letter size file inside of it. So I actually store my printables for the Playbook in here, and each little section has a purpose. So I have honeys in one. These are where all the printables that I haven't cut up. So I have like honeys inside of this. I'll have the freebies that we do. I have all kinds of things in here. I'm trying to remember what this is. So here's the directions of how to do the printing of the Playbook. I kept a copy of those in here. Mr. Crafty's giving me direction of how to hold things because I'm not doing it right. So,
forward facing is just too bright.
Okay.
So, focus on the top down for showing things.
Okay.
We'll be able to see better.
All right. Okay, so he wants me to focus on this one. So this particular little file folder is one of my favorites, and it's inexpensive. I've used it well. It has been used and used. So like in this file folder, I keep all the prompts for some of the Listers Got a List in here. And then I have another thing where these are all the Playbook kits. So there was Playbook kits where there was like a yearbook photos and stamping elements and that kind of thing. So I keep a lot of like similar things together in this. So if you wanted to have multiple ones of them, then you could keep them in a larger box and then have those together. An item I picked up at the Dollar Tree was this little tray organizer for $1. This would be something you could put in a drawer to separate stuff, but I find that it's really great for separating ephemera. So you could put die cuts in each of the little cups. And I will just give you an example using some die cuts here. Here's my craft market. So you could put, as you can see, you could put one tray together for one project. So like put one tray for all of your Bible journaling. So all of your Bible journaling elements that, are faith related, things you've printed from like Illustrated Faith Shop, My Shop, you could cut all those out and then put them in each component and have a tray for each of your projects. Each of the things that you love and reach for, you could preset them up with specific things. I have these fun little vintage stickers, other die cuts. So this would be something you could use for inexpensive die cut organization. I've shared this multiple times. I have like 6 of these. So this is actually a jewelry organizer. I've bought them on Amazon. I love them. They look so nice. They're linen. I mean, you can use them for jewelry organization, but I love using them for my die cuts. This is what I use for making my paper punch buffet now. So here's an empty one, and then here's one with my little pieces all inside of it. So these are things I've punched from our collections. There's tabs, there's tickets, yearbook photos, stamps, little tiny embellishments. So they make them in different sizes. Again, I've shared these multiple times. These are like pieces that I really love and can store things in. If you have a larger desk space or tabletop to work with, it's nice to be able to kind of like, I will have these stacked beside me and kind of just sort through them as I want to see stuff to craft with. And so I keep those there. I also use them for sorting my jewelry too. I did mention on the Harmony Retreat that you will want to grab a clipboard, I believe was one of the craft supplies. It's going to be for one of the like extra crafts that we're doing. Dollar Tree has clipboards. But yeah, so like a little cheapy clipboard. If you're running out to the dollar store, a clipboard is a great little portable tabletop, something to write with, plan on, and then it's really fun to embellish. We're going to embellish one in our the Harmony Retreat. Another fun thing that I grabbed, which is not really organization, but it is kind of fun and something I mentioned also in the Harmony Retreat. This was $4 at TJ Maxx, and it's a simple little frame that has a little clip here. This is fun for like swapping out. We're gonna have fun little messages and stuff to remind you. If you have a sticky note for yourself, you could use this as your kind of like hotspot reminder board, meal planning, something like that. I saw these and I was like, this is like really fun and fashion, like, you know, kind of fashiony, to put little reminders, a note to yourself. We have lots of really cute little quote cards that are going to be coming. It's something that you can embellish with like a little honey and then put a little message to yourself. You can make yourself little affirmation cards, quote cards. So I got this to display a message on my desk, and I just looked over and saw my very favorite journal card I've ever made. I'm going to attach that, and it's a fun little display. So not really organization, but something that might be a little reminder if you need to have like a little reminder to yourself about, you know, why you're doing this. Remind yourself no procrastination, no perfectionism. Like, let's jump in. There's all kinds of ways you can use a little display on your desk. This is what I purchased for myself the other day, and I actually am going to return it and get this one I just found on Amazon instead. It's very similar, but it has a little drawer under here, and I want that to put my sticky notes in. If you, it's on the Amazon. It's on this little sheet mark, the very top, the wooden tier. It's exactly the same. So I decided I wanted to have my 3 important things up on my desk so I wouldn't forget. So I have my power sheets here, my Crafty Club Playbook, and then right now I have this little face planner that I got at TJ, I think it was TJ Maxx or Home Goods. But the other thing I have is my daily planner, which is in this. It's like, it's a janky, I put just like slapped it together kind of planner for myself, just so I have something. It's like, it's a monthly planner until I get my real planner set up. So these are the things that I wanted to have right on my desktop, so I always knew where they were. They're right here in sight. I can view them. Actually, I'll save the rest for like an actual tour of the desktop, so I don't have to keep pulling them out on the camera. So you
also have your remote camera.
Okay, so Mr. Crafty has given me a multitude of cameras. So I will like take you around the desk to show you what else I have done. I'm just wanted to show you the products that I bought recently to make all of this simpler or easier. One thing that I did do is, this used to be on my desk like forever from the beginning. This has had my, it had stamps in it. In here it had all my pencils, like not pencils, they were tools, like special tools, my gold scissors. This has been one of the things from the beginning. This is an item that I asked myself, do I really need to have this? If I move these out of this cup, already this is half empty. And then I started looking at what was in here and I was like, I don't really need this. What I do need in the other part of my house is a little place to do meal planning. I had bought myself this little notepad for doing meal planning. It's a Commit 30 is the planner for it. So Commit 30 has this really fun planner for like recording what you eat and your fitness and all of that. It's like kind of bullet journal style. So I got myself that, and they have these little meal plan pads. So I wanted to set that up. I have a little to-do, and then I have some coupons that have to do with food up here. So this is now in my kitchen. I repurposed it, and I actually have something finally in my life that is more about like home management. I have not had anything like this. So I went ahead and repurposed it for the kitchen and for a different reason, and I am so happy I have this little thing now in my kitchen. So excited. So that was one of the things. As I was going through stuff, I was like, well, just because you've always used it this way, and just because it's here doesn't mean you have to have this and you have to use it like this. What if you kind of like were more creative with some of the little items that you have on your desk? So I really did clean house. I really took the opportunity. I went in my back here behind me is where I have all of these drawer units, and some of the art supplies that I own are actually stored in them. So I pulled a couple things out. I have this little bin of paints and sprays, and I have not used them much at all. I've owned them for a long time. I certainly hope that these are all the sprays and stuff I bought. This is what happens. This is a perfect example. I was watching Inky Quill, Adele's YouTube channel, and she's mesmerizing. I've never seen anyone pump out as much content as she does. She is constantly creating. It's so inspiring. But I was watching her, and I was watching how she used this stuff, and I was like, okay, I can do that. So I was very motivated to get myself a bunch of little sprays and inks and daubers and all of the little stains. But then I stopped kind of creating, and actually I didn't use them at all, so I wasn't creating in the first place. This was before my big Crafty breakthrough. So I had the tools, but I did not push through and actually create. So that is why I pulled these out. I was like, I'm not going to use them if they're stored back there. I'm going to try to up my game with my Playbook, with my handbook, with anything I work on, and I'm actually going to try to add a little bit of color. So I'm going to be ambitious, and I'm going to add some color into the mix. So I brought those out of hibernation, and I have them here on my little shelf space so that I actually use them, hopefully. That is my goal. So Miss Eversue asked me, and I have a feeling she was asking me about my planner, is will it handle the future fluffiness? That's a good question. I don't think that little janky planner is going to be too fluffy. It's mostly for work, so it's not like a fun thing, and I probably won't share it in any way. There's really not any, I mean, it's mostly like, here's the dates for the retreat. Here's like the days you have to have things done. I don't know that that's super exciting stuff. So Megan says that I have that exact same frame. I use it to display scriptures. So yeah, these are super popular, this type of thing where it's more of like a wooden back with a little bulldog clip on it. So these things are really fun. You can consider this to be like a little place to put a motivating message, your scripture for the week that you're trying to memorize, your word for the year. This is a good place to display it. Kind of fun. You can switch things out. So having some fun little display for your desktop, your tabletop would be a fun little thing to add on there. Tiffany, if you have questions about the Craft Club or First Love Club, you can go to theresetgirl.com, and we actually have a whole page for the First Love Club that you can read through everything about it. And I assume that your other question is about the Crafty Club. So I'm not sure what kind of questions you would have, but you can certainly join the group and see what we have going on in there. You just have to answer a couple questions to get in. Whew. And if you are interested in the Harmony Retreat, theresetgirl.com is also where I would point you. Today is the last day to get early bird pricing for the Harmony Retreat. If you have not pulled the trigger, I encourage you to consider that. TheResetGirl.com has an image, a graphic, a button that you can push that says the Harmony Retreat. You push that and you'll be taken down an entire page of explaining to you what it is, who it's for, how it's going to happen, and that good stuff. And then you can get all the info on that. So today is your last day to get the early bird pricing on the Harmony Retreat. My mouth is dry from all the talky talk. Okay, I pretty much covered all of my most important organizational little tools that I've been using and loving, that I recommend this year to you guys. They're not expensive. I don't buy the craft product organizing. I go to like the kitchen section of the discount store and find different things. I think once or twice I've actually bought an item that was designed for your craft room, and I found it to not be very useful, or it took up too much space. And so I find that using office supplies and kitchen organization supplies have just been they've really answered that need for me personally of how to organize my craft stuff. I don't feel like I have to have matchy things or have everything like look beautiful. I just want it to be functional. I want what I make to be beautiful and just have functionality around me. The office supply, stationery supply section of all the discount stores, they have the really awesome little stationery organizers that look like this. They have like little tiered, they're tiered in some way so that you can put stationery products in them. I find these to be the most useful organizers as far as things that are like attractive or aesthetic in any way. I just really like them. I keep my journaling spots, like papers I use for journaling. I have stickers in here. I have my library card pockets. I actually added some cards here that I got from Colleen Atara, the one that I buy my word for the year from. I recorded a video showing my unboxing of my word for the year and all the stuff that I bought from her. But she has these fabulous little mixed media cards. So I had actually bought these for people. So I'm putting them kind of more in front of me so that I won't forget about them, because usually I tuck all my stationery away and then I forget about it. So I'm putting it up here, right here on my desk. So I have to see it every day when I log in to my desktop. So that's pretty much it. I love using kitchen organizers, and I happen to have this is a fridge storage bin. It's so much better when doing it the way you want me to do it is a little hard, Mr. Crafty. So here's a fridge storage bin. It's one of those long, skinny plastic bins that you put like water bottles in and stuff for your refrigerator. But I found this one to be perfect for my longer stickers. I have this really old canceled check file little accordion. This is what I have a lot of ephemera and stickers in. I set this up for being one of like my go-to things. Like if I taught at a workshop, I would just grab this. So I actually put that in here. I put my other little long stickers. These are stickers that we had manufactured. These are Reset Your Goals stickers. This is going to be one of the products that we release, is the whole Reset Your Goals little, like the kit, the whole collection of products. That will be coming soon to the Reset Girl shop. These are older stickers from the Reset Girl. These are all like stuff that I had made for me when I was doing like morning pages and miracle morning. I had all these special custom stickers made. So I have those set up here. And then I had just enough space to add a really healthy amount of 3x4 journal cards. And then I have it wedged in my desk like this. So I see the journal cards first, and it fits right up underneath my little plug, the plug for my unit. So I'm gonna pull the camera around so you guys can see everything at once. I just wanted to show you that that's what my organization largely is containers for kitchen, some wood storage boxes, and and mostly envelopes. My little bins and boxes have all been inexpensive. I have not spent a lot of money. The big amount of money that me and Mr. Crafty spent were on those bins back there. They were a small fortune. a small fortune. They are so well made. I love them dearly, and I can't wait to set them up like in a proper house and like use them. But yeah, I would not recommend that. I'm not suggesting that. I want you guys to be focused on the function of setting up a really nicely organized workspace to get crafting done. And I know that, wouldn't it be better like to have the money for other things than like fancy storage solutions? There's a lot of companies that want us to buy their storage solutions, but they don't necessarily. I find that sometimes they feel more trouble than they're worth to me when I look at what I would end up having to deal with. And a lot of the little clear bins that I showed you are the very things I was mentioning that, yes, the Container Store sells tons of them, but I have found the exact same brands at TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Marshalls for a fraction of the price. A fraction. So check out those areas. That's why I absolutely love those stores, as I always go check out the kitchen organization and the stationery office section. That's where I find like the best solutions for storing. A lot of our products can be stored upright so that you can file through them. I find that to be better than laying things flat, which take up much more real estate. Upwards, like a file folder, allows you to just file and sort through very quickly, whether it's alphas, sticker books, printables, ephemera. A lot of times working upright is a really great way of dealing with them. And I only have 3 boxes in my whole stash where things are flat, but then you guys have seen how much space that can take up, and if you don't have space for that, that could be a problem. So let us scan my desk. Actually, let me clean up the mess I made here on the floor, and then let's scan my desk. So let me move a couple of these things out of the way. I'm trying to find a place for my new. So okay. There's a really cool, it's a cool looking desk. It's made for crafters, and I forget what it's called. I know like Amy Tangerine has one, and Boho Berry has it. It's a big white cabinet, and you open it, it's like full of like little compartments and shelves for everything. It is quite fancy. That is, I think, the fanciest craft desk I've ever seen. Like it's got so many, but I feel like, I don't know if it's just me, but I wonder if it's like, would I find it to be overly organized? Would it be too much organization? Because I often love the like surprise of like finding things in my stash. I don't know. What do you guys think? How do you guys feel about some of the craft stuff that we have available to us in the craft world? Do you find that to be like, is that really exciting looking to you, or does it kind of intimidate you? Each of them, if you want to check it out, Amy Tangerine and Boho Berry each have a YouTube channel, and they both have whatever that thing is called, the Dream Box. Thank you, Colette. It is a video each of them have showing how they have it set up. It's beautiful to look at. If you love organization, like I love looking at organized like pictures of people's homes and their closets. Nothing like, it's just it just makes me feel squee. Does it mean that, you know, that I can achieve that myself? I don't know, but I have pondered that product myself and thought, you know, Mr. Crafty was really excited when he personally saw it, and he thought, well, do you want to try something like that for yourself? Obviously not necessarily in the RV. And I don't know, it kind of intimidated me. It made me feel like, I don't know if I'm that girl. I don't know if I'm like that, if I'm that organized girl. You know, I feel like someone who wants to have all the little compartments. I feel like I don't know, maybe more of like the INFJ girls will be like, yes, everything has a space, everything has a spot. And as an INFP who's just a little more disorganized, but okay with it, like I'm just a little bit more looser, you know, I would be finding, I don't know, I'd feel like it's I'm not sure. See, the preppy crafty girl goes, I'd love one, but I think of all the craft supplies I could buy instead. Justine says, I would love the heck out of that box. My life is scattered in bags and boxes everywhere. That to me is a dream. Yes, I bet it is. I bet having it, I mean, and I think that's why like calling it the dream box is a really good name, because for some people it would be like the ideal situation. Okay, so I'm going to just move this pile of stuff that I have created a mess. Oh, also, there's a couple quick little things that I missed. I also wanted to show with you, I found this particular, this is a organizer for like little office supplies. I grabbed this one because I thought it was like a really good size for ephemera, like my little scrap stash. Like I have, oftentimes when I'm cutting stuff up, I like to keep the little scraps, because even the smallest little scraps of pattern or color can end up being something you can use in your handbook, in your playbook, in your traveler's notebooks. So I wanted a little tray to capture that better than what I had, because they were too tall and too small. So I got myself this for $1. And then mostly I was grabbing these to show you guys, and I didn't really have a real purpose for these, but they did have this style. These are made by Essentials. They look very much like the same product that Rubbermaid makes. So there's these two kind of medium-sized trays that they had at the Dollar Tree. And if you'll notice, you can put, like, pretend your very favorite, like, must-have pens. Perhaps that could be a little home for them, a little place for them to live. You could put, like, I have, like, these little fussy cutting type scissors. Could be something you could put in here. You could also set one up with your roller stamps, could fit in here. Oh yeah. You could make one for like stamping, like I'm doing right now. So you could set up one for like a little collection of roller stamps. I even brought my roller stamp, my stamps. I even kind of consolidated those as well. So I did a few things in here. So here would be an example. I will probably end up using these like in the kitchen maybe. I don't know that they don't really have a purpose on my desk now that I've cleaned it all up. But this will become a scrap box. So I'm going to put these up above where I have storage space for now. And I will come back to finding a purpose and a use for those someday in my house. And yes, the little white bins and the little clear bin I just showed you were all from the Dollar Tree. They were in the kitchen organization. Dollar Tree, I noticed, kind of has several places for organization products. They have one in their craft supplies, like the school supplies aisle. There are very specific ones in there. And then they have another that have like household tools. There's they have little boxes for things like nails, batteries, and that's where I found those things that you'd put on your storage shelf. And then there's a kitchen section, and the kitchen section has a whole other type of organization, like baskets and stuff too, all kinds. And here's one little tip I would recommend. If you're going in there and you like the boxes I have, like you want to find something to file your things in, do not get boxes that have this shape to them where they kind of narrow down to the bottom and they're angled. You want to try to find boxes that are completely like straight up and down, because the more you buy boxes like this, then that really alters the amount of space and use you really get out of them. Straight boxes are best. They're more versatile and they'll store evenly with all of your, in all of your stuff as you're mixing stuff together. All of my products came from different stores, but they all work together because they are all completely straight sides. And I heard a organizational expert actually shared that tip, and I was like, I didn't think of it that way, but that's excellent advice. Ginger asked, Corey, do you shop looking for a specific need for storage, or do you see something and find a way to use it? I would say I only go in there, like if I go to those aisles, I'm looking for a storage solution. I generally don't go in there and go, I'm just going to shop to find some storage boxes, because then I've given myself permission to fill that storage box. And I'm trying to change my mindset and try to like think in more of a minimal approach to crafting. And like, that's why I think this concept I shared with you earlier about really ask yourself, what are the specific crafts that you're going to do? And then kind of build a little craft kit or, you know, group of products just for that particular product, that particular craft. When it comes to the paper crafts, this can be very helpful. All my Bible journaling stuff is together. All of my Playbook stuff is together. I'm not saying there's not crossover. There is, but some products belong with your particular project, and that will often make it helpful to store it, organize it, have all your essentials together, and really be mindful of how much stuff you have for that. You don't want to be, you know, getting crazy. Once I start putting like all of my alphas together, all of the stickers together, I feel like I'm not reaching for it as much, or I'm not looking at it as much. I don't know what it is, why I don't, but I really notice a change when I minimize the amount of options, when I narrow down just like this little set of stickers to work with, this little set of ephemera to work with. When I narrow it down to smaller options, I see myself burning through it much quicker, and it's, I don't know, more fun. So if you have space to have a separate bin of like your overage, your extras, like here's where I keep all my alphas and all of my extra ephemera die cuts, and you kind of replenish your supply as you use it. It might be better than having all of your die cuts together, all of your alphas together. I don't know, I have found for myself that it has the opposite effect. It makes me feel maybe overwhelmed with, like, when I go to, I need an alpha, and then I have to look through 20 packs of alphas. I probably shouldn't have that many. And if I'm not ever, but I noticed that when I have fewer to choose from, they're getting used up much quicker. Like, because in the moment, I don't really want to get up, especially during a live, and go dig through my alphas in the other room to like do something. And chances are you might not want to either. So it might make you just use what you have that's right in front of you, that's all set up and ready to go, and then you are using your stuff. I don't know, this is just a thought. Everybody's different. Somehow that is what's helped me, is that I've just given myself the essentials, and then now I'm kind of like working through them. But I have noticed that one of my number one things I do when I start any kind of page is I always reach for my scrap stash box. I'm like reaching for scraps of paper as my first element of working, and that's kind of all the leftovers. I reach for my leftovers first. So definitely consider that. And I've always made the mistake of buying organizers first, organizing bins first, before really looking at what I need. What do I really need to have out here? And that really has made a difference. The stuff I used to have in my craft room, I don't, I have just a few of those little bins, but I really just like the big square box, and then I can turn it into anything I want. Especially what happens is it's much easier to pull out one box than it is to pull out a bunch of separate things. So actually in this bigger box is 2 boxes. So I have 2 types of organization. This is a little IKEA bin from their kitchen section, and this is a kitchen refrigerator organizer. This has the other little thing of ephemera in here. So this is like all my ephemera, but I put 2 bins in here, so I only have 1 to pull out. And if I feel like crafting and I want to like start using die cuts, I'll just pull out 1 of the bins of die cuts and work from that. Okay, I feel like I've been talking for 2 hours, which I have. Okay, I hope that you guys, for those of you who made yourself a like a promise to yourself, like I'm gonna actually organize my craft space. I'm gonna get some stuff done while the live is on. I would love to know who has been doing that while I've been talking. How many of you guys are just like, yeah, I got my feet up, drinking coffee, watching you, or I'm crafting while you're doing that. What are you guys up to in the chat room? What are you guys doing? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull down one of the cameras and then give you guys a spin around my room. If you are interested in seeing what my craft room looked like before, I have done this. I did it last year. It is one of the late night crafty clubs. So if you go to our late night crafty club playlist on YouTube, and you sort through there is one that says RV tour, and it actually has the thumbnail as a picture of our RV. So I actually took you guys on a desk tour of my desk, so you can see what it was before and now how it has been minimized. And so let's do that. So working in the planner, feet up and coffee. I'm working away, getting organized. Took notes, sorting through labels and continuing to declutter. Good girl. Crafting in Playbook, packing for a trip, feet up and watching, eating chickpea salad, taking care of the pets, organizing tomorrow when I get home, making envelopes, cutting printables, typing quotes onto journaling cards. Oh, Judy's at a crop scrapbooking. Well, doing double duty. I love it. Organizing and setting up a planner, just stashing and organizing, mostly watching and chatting, but making attempts to adjust the shelves next to her desk. Putting stickers in your book tracker planner. That's a book reader. And clearing off one of your tables, feet up, drinking matcha tea. I'm about to head into the craft room to start rebuilding. Good girl. Just watching you after a long day. No worries. Karen saying, I moved in September and realized I had a lot of stuff I love but didn't need or use or even want. And isn't that interesting how that happens a lot? We just get in our head, well, I spent the money, it's valuable, I wanted it at one point, and then somehow a lot of us fall out of love with the craft supplies, or I'm not into that anymore. I stopped watching that YouTube channel. I stopped being part of that community, and now I have a bunch of these things from that particular craft, and I'm not really into it. But we have a hard time, I think, separating ourselves from the money we spent, and I think that becomes one of the ways in which we kind of stack up a lot of stuff around ourselves. I'm playing in the Playbook. Making a DIY planner for this year. Miss Girl on a Jet. That's kind of what I did, is I made myself a Franken planner, just because I needed something and I wasn't ready to jump into my Hobonichi. So I'll probably have a whole month of my Hobonichi that will be blank, just like all the other ones I've had. Cooking birthday dinner for hubby. Happy birthday, Mr. Sullivan. Crafting, watching you and finishing organize my paperwork and to-do list. Justine says, hi, Papa Crafty. Diana's trying to get rid of things. Good girl. Marina's doing purging. Tiffany did her Bible time, and now she's getting ready to start her day. Yay! Michelle is watching and listening in between the storms. There's a lot of stuff going on in Mother Nature right now. My goodness. Miss Lisa Standard says she gutted her craft room today and doing a deep clean. Oh, wow. I can only imagine. But that will feel so good, Lisa, when you have it all put away and you'll just like want to stay in there for hours, just look at everything. I love that feeling when you've gotten everything organized and it just feels so good. Miss Chati is working on 2020 meal plan list options. Girl, oh my gosh, I am so determined to do meal planning this year. I am trying to wrap my head around it. I know how to do meal prepping. Like, I'm really good at that. But as far as like planning in a more like in a bigger way, like a big picture way, that is what I need to accomplish. So I'm on that. That's my next thing I want to do. Miss Mathani Musings, watching you on the big TV while I rest with my feet up. Aw, it's been a long week. Kathy says she was exercising. Good girl. Miss Veronica is working on our 2020 vision book. Excellent. Oh, Megan says, I have a list of tips now. So many great ideas. I'm glad to hear that. And you guys all had a lot of great ideas. So again, if you're watching this as a replay viewer, please watch with the chat room open, because many of the ladies have shared their tips for organizing, what they do with their stuff. I am not the only voice on this in this show on this topic. There's lots of people, because we're many different personalities, so we're many different ways of wanting to feel organized, and what works for me might not work for you, and some of you might like care very deeply about everything being very matchy and beautiful, because that's part of the experience for you. So whatever it is that, you know, makes you feel organized, that is all that matters. That's the whole point of the show, is just to get us on that topic and thinking about how can I set myself up for success this year and not have objections between me and my crafting. Don't let anything get between me and my crafting, because crafting is part of self-care. It's part of mental health. It's part of your emotional health. It helps you stay sane. It helps stop the aging process. It slows the aging process down. I got all of these facts from very smart people. So I just wanted to make sure you guys heard this, because it should further support your endeavors of creating, because it actually does wonderful things for your brain, and also for helping lift depression, keeping it at bay. It helps you for your peace of mind. It helps, like, all the wonderful flow of creativity we sometimes get in. What your brain is doing is like all the little synapses, all the little things are firing off in there, and it's flooding your brain with all the yummy serotonin and all the good feelings. So all of that helps reduce your stress. And wouldn't it be lovely if it turned back time on your face? If only crafting could alleviate wrinkles. I mean, that would be awesome. So, wow, you guys are just doing a whole plethora of little tasks and projects while we're doing this. It's awesome. Yeah, Lisa says, I may sleep in my craft room when I'm done. So, yes, Megan says, meal planning can cut grocery bills in half. Because we're, many of us came here from the planner world, and we're like planner girls at heart. I love a planner. I'm not very necessarily good at using a planner, like actual functional planning, but I love the idea of it. I'm always aspiring for it. So many of us are like that. We're very much geared into like our planner, routines, organization. And so the whole meal planning thing has always sort of been a mystery, because I think part of it was just being a single mom, and I had only one child. I think my meal planning felt like it was doable when my daughter was young. Like I could manage that. I don't feel like that wasn't too bad for me. Like there was just a lot of things that I made us kind of more structured and like being more teamwork. So I made my daughter more responsible for certain tasks, so that we were like a team and not like it was all on me, because I didn't think that was a wise way to approach single motherhood, because I didn't want it to be all on me. So like I empowered her to be like learn how to do laundry, and I taught her like how to shop, so like look at certain things. So there was a lot of different little things I did right, but when I look back I go, wow, but I could have been so much better at, you know, meal planning. And now I'm just like terrible. I mean, Mr. Crafty and I eat out way too, like we get takeout way too much, especially around retreat or camp. It's like it becomes a go-to, and I don't want that, because that is why you can't lose weight. It's why, you know, you become more feeding your face. So I have to stop. I have to turn the tide. So meal planning is the name of the game. That's going to be my next frontier. Hi, Miss Angela Robertson. Will we be able to share recipes in Harmony Retreat? That is a good question. I had not thought about that. I don't know if you've been here from the beginning, but when I was talking earlier, I was saying I really didn't quite know how the whole Harmony experience would kind of roll out. Like sometimes, like with summer camp, when I did it, I could see the need for doing Junk Journal Jamboree. I was like, yeah, there's a lot of us that feel left, like we feel behind, and we would probably really do better if we had that extra push. So I'll go ahead and offer that. I kind of feel like that's where I'm at with Harmony. like there's something great could come out of it, and it could create that conversation of like, I want more. So how can I create more harmony in other areas of my life outside of the craft room? So like, is it the meal planning? Is it organizing? And I'm not saying I'm an expert in these things, but I certainly know how to point towards really great, awesome resources. That's what I am like really good at. That's my calling, is I'm a good researcher and a good finder of things. I spend a lot of time looking at stuff online. I do, because I love it. So I feel like I could help you guys get to people who are more expert in that area and could teach us, and then things we could do together. This is stuff me and Mr. Crafty talk about all the time. You know, if you're going to do that, Corey, you should, you know, consider doing it with your friends. Like, ask your friends, do you guys want to do this too? And we all buy the product, like the workshop, or we all buy the book, and then we work through it together. That kind of thing. So I don't want to say no, but I want to say like the focus is going to be very specific. And then let's see what happens. How does that open up other opportunities for us to keep willing harmony to be part of our life? What other areas can we do that in? That's kind of where I'm at. So Debbie's therapy says, I'm a therapist and I concur. So I don't want to say no to you, Miss Angela, just like to nutshell that. I don't want to say no. I just want to make sure that people, my greatest goal with like having the Facebook group for the Harmony Retreat is to make sure you guys don't get overwhelmed with too many ideas and too many things. So that might be like part 2. You know, I might offer a part 2 situation, and let's move on to other topics and see how we do, if only to just have a little platform to join together and bring bring ideas and that kind of thing. So that might be something we do in a part 2 experience or membership. Maybe it's a specific membership of time. We'll see. Okay, Mr. Crafty, for the millionth time. Do I just grab a camera? I'm so sorry. I've like tricked him into thinking I was ready. How many times now? Am I the little girl who cried wolf?
The little iPod?
Yes.
Just grab it and pull the cable out of it.
Okay, so Mr. Crafty has set me up with a camera, my little iPod. Wow, it's going to be a camera that everybody can see? That's so cool. This is the little iPod I use for, it's working. There's all my notes in the chat room, you guys. Look at all that. Okay, so I'm going to take you, let's start from the beginning. What a very good place to start. Okay, so this, from here on, I will show you what I got going. If I flip the camera vertical, would that be bad?
I don't know, try it, I'll tell you.
Yes, the answer is yes. I can see that. It doesn't want to do that. Okay, so there's one of my display clipboards, and then this is one of the boxes I was showing you guys earlier, and I have found that when you flip them on their sides, they become great little bookshelves. They become a great little way of housing a little collection. So here's all my little A6 and pocket-sized little traveler notebooks. I have those right there. This does not actually go here, so I'm going to move this out of the way and put it where it does go. Sorry about that.
Don't be the cameraman for
I
you?
probably shouldn't spin around like that. I'm so sorry, you guys.
Don't be the cameraman for you?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so we're over here.
Okay.
Here's another one of those little wooden boxes. I have quite the collection. I rounded up my little favorite books that I just like, A, love to look at, B, are inspiring. This is all basically about journaling, sketching. I have this fun little book that teaches you, this is from Japan, that teaches you how to sketch with your fountain pen. I thought that was so fun. Here's a little book that is all about like office supplies, like people's desk, like little antique office supplies, stationery supplies. So these were things that I bought when I was on the Tokyo trip, and something's down here, and I wanted to display them. So I just have this little box of books right here. In this corner are books from New York. I went on my New York trip. I got myself some really fun books that are like picture books. some of them are all about like, I'm just showing you this because this is part of my inspiration. This is photos of New York City that have been gathered in color. So here's pictures that have all been taken that all have like gold elements in them. There was pictures that have red in them. Here's all the pictures that are yellow. So I find this so incredibly inspiring. I love taking pictures. And so this is a kind of like little project I could imagine doing for myself. And it's just really fun to look through. It makes me think. So I treated myself to some fun, inspiring photos of New York back here. Here is my Bible for the year. This 2020 is the Tony Evans Study Bible and his commentary. And then here is my little book. I bought myself a new journaling Bible as well, which is blank right now. I have not done a single thing in it. And then here I have my Hobonichi and then all of the journals that I purchased for testing in the Harmony retreat. I have my little daily calendar here. And then I was showing you earlier, here's the kitchen tray that I was showing you that has my stickers back here. Let me just move my cord here. So I had just this much space right there, and I looked at this little container. It had a totally different purpose than I bought it for. I actually bought it to create a stand so that these things could sit on it and make it sit up. So I realized that fit perfectly in that spot, and now I have journal cards and my stickers right here, plus little pocket cards. Here is that organization stand I was showing you earlier, which I'm actually going to return this because I bought a different one on Amazon that I like better. But this was $9.99 at TJ Maxx. So I have my planner, my Playbook, and my other planner in here. This is my little stationery sorter. This is where I keep all of my journaling spots is what I call it, and library card pockets. I have a bunch of stickers in here. These are mostly words and alphas, my gold numbers, more journaling spots. I put these cards here in the front because I want to actually mail these off and not forget about them. So that's why they're there. This little bowl is for putting my wedding ring in. It's been giving me a rash. Sorry, Mr. Crafty.
It's okay, baby.
So I was actually putting it in here so I wouldn't lose it. Sometimes I like to craft. I don't want to wear any jewelry at all. I just want to have it off my hands. This is my little essentials. Here's my fun little, he's my little coach. He always looks so stern. I bought him in Tokyo. He came out of like a gumball machine kind of thing. So here's one of the little pencil pouches I got in Tokyo that I really, really love. And I have been keeping my very most important essential pens in it. So it's like my only little pen cup. Here is my Alexa. How can I help you? What do you want? So that's my Alexa. Interesting. So this is my toolbox. This is the little bin that has like my tools or things that like essentials. So here's my little box. This came from the Dollar Tree. I keep all my little clips in it for all of my projects, Bible journaling, any of my listing, junk journaling. All of the clips live in here. I also have one set of watercolor pencils, wet wipes. I have this really awesome stapler I have not shown yet, but it's how to make booklets. And then right here is my little bin. These are my essentials. The tiny attacher. Here is the star punch, my single hole punch, my Dymo label maker, which I love, and a little pair of fussy cutting scissors, which I don't love because they make this sound when you cut with them, that I don't love. I try to love them, but I just can't. And then I have a glue glider, which I admittedly don't use enough for it truly to have earned its spot in this little bin. But I have not given up hope. Maybe you guys can remind me. It just turns out that I just reach for my glue sticks. There was almost a collapse. So I keep all my tools in here so that I always know where they're at. It's my essentials box. Here is my little sorter. I have all my little mini pocket pages in here. This is for my junk journals. And these are for, I forgot what you call these.
Photo crops?
Yes, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
My little photo crops.
I've got some myself.
So I have those in here. So that is in here. Here's one of the little trays that I've been using for, this was all the stuff that came with the little Playbook kit. When you purchase the Playbook, it has a bunch of other fun little printables. So I just have this little tray sitting here that's super, super cute. And so I probably will end up moving all of these girls. I'm going to move them into their own little pocket, their own little envelope. And then look at that adorable. This is also a TJ.
Oh, that's adorbs.
TJ Maxx for $4.99. They have I have a whole set of them. There's like more. So so let me just show you how so something like these, I could either put them in this little envelope like that. I could put them in here in their own little pocket. I think I'm going to just put them in their own envelope. And that way when it's time to work on the Playbook and I have to do a live, I'll just pull out my little Playbook envelopes and I'll know that that is what they're for. So this is a two shelf unit that we got at Home Goods. Mr. Crafty actually added an extra shelf down here for me with some boards. Because for whatever reason, they gave us 2 shelves, and even though there was a spot for a third, we didn't get one. So this is the extra piece we've added onto the RV so that I have more storage. So here on my desktop, or my top shelf, this bin right here is where I have all of my TRG stickers. So here's my DIY sticker book in here. Here's a whole bunch more full-size sticker sheets. Here are the smaller TRG quarter sheets. So this is like my little sticker box. Then I have my washi, as you can hear in this bin. I have washi rings in here. These can actually get hung up on my ring. I have a hook for them, but I just kind of left them in here. Here's all my stamps currently that I'm using. I have more stamps kind of stored, but I really wanted to make an effort to use some of these. Some of these are like brand new, and I have not been using them. I have many, some of them I reach for all the time, and some I really don't. So I have some cleaner, I have my little clear blocks, and then I have this really cool book of stamps, like a little organizer that I got from our atelier. And I have stored a lot of my stamps in here, as you can see. So that's in here. I consolidated all my stamps together, so now they're in one bin, and I have my little roller stamps right here. So that begs the question about my ink pads. So I have this new little essentials tray for like all my little things. So here's all my glue sticks. Here are a bunch of the little, I use these a lot with my junk journal. Little, what do you call these again? Reinforcements.
Yep.
Here's a little tiny, this is my little watercolor palette, which is a combination of a bunch of, like 3 different Prima marketing palettes. I combine them together with just the colors I like. And so I have those. And then here's my ink pads. And then here's a bunch of little things that I'm always reaching for. A tiny stapler, an eraser, my little craft tweezers. This thing right here, which I love. It's a little white out roller. So this is like my little tray that I would keep on my desktop when I'm crafting. When you guys see me do any of the crafting shows, I will have this out. But I've been tucking it under here for now. Here is a basket that I also got at Home Goods, and it has the books that I want to read that are all on my reading list. And then back here are the magazines that I'm obsessed with and buy all the time. It's all about diets, but I also tear these up and put them into my vision book. I use these a lot for that. I have this. So this is a Ray Dunn product for $5.99 at Home Goods. So it's had many different things in it. Right now it's just empty. I don't have anything to put in it. It's so cute. So I just left it up here. Here's my little my Epson PhotoMate printer. It's not plugged in. It's just kind of hanging out. Here's one bin that has a couple. I went through my paper pads and I kept these. Everything else I put in a big bin for giveaway. And these are all like more like die cut ephemera. And so we'll see if I end up using any of that. Here is my, I reorganized this. So here's all the markers, the Tombow markers I use for highlighting in my Bible. When I read, I highlight. Here's Professor Chicky. These are the essential pens that I reach for a lot for journaling. You guys, I've put this on my journaling favorites page, like my favorites products page for journaling is I love these pens. And then this side are tools. My gold scissors, a craft knife, a water brush. These are also for fussy cutting. The glue pen that I absolutely love. So these are the things I use all the time. They would probably actually do better in here where they are with their counterparts. Actually, I will see if I can fit them in that box. That's where they actually belong. Down here on the lower shelf next to the ephemera is one of the boxes I was showing you where I have the envelopes all organized. So here is my honeys and I will slip them in here. So now I have like these little envelopes to kind of sort through. And that tray that I showed you, I don't have anywhere to put it, so I'm just going to put it under that so it's raised up. This is something I have had for years and years and years. This is one of the IKEA boxes, and I think they have these back in the store again. They took them out for years, and now they're back. So I have in here all of my little pocket printers. Not all of them. I have 2 of them. So here's my Sprocket. Here's my Instax. And then it's okay to have a partially empty drawer. This is what I'm telling myself. So I just have these little oddities in here that I need. Here are some more wooden stamps, an acrylic block, I don't know why, and then some little stamp pads that I bought recently. So here's another batch of stamping. Glasses, girls in their 40s, you know what this is for. These are readers. These are the glasses I wear every day just to see. So I never remember where they are. I never have a place until now. And then this is one of my super secret projects. And then here is some tech. So flash drives and cords. So that's like right here next to me in case I need anything. And then down here in this little refrigerator organizer are all my sticky notes. I have all like page flags. I have like really fun sticky notes that look like tickets. And I'm hoping that having them like out will help me like use them. But I'm always reaching for a sticky note. I'm really a sticky note person, so they're right here. And then back here is the last little bin. And this bin, I've shared these before. I absolutely love these, especially for travel. These are books, like this is for washi. So you can get like these are plastic coated pages, and all the washi has been already, I've already covered the pages, and so I would just peel off a piece of washi and craft with it. So this is really fun to store washi. It makes it very light. Instead of carrying one of these on a plane or in your luggage, you could easily put it in here. I have one set up that's also for journaling, so it has like ephemera and cards and notepad paper. It has guest checks. It has the little pocket, library pockets. It has little receipts and ledger paper. It has stickers, lots of stickers, journal cards. It also has some stamps. The Kelly Perky ones fit in these long skinny sheets really good. And then more stickers. Oh, I forgot I even had that. See, I'm going to pull this one out. I was actually looking for a stamp like this. And I had already bought one, so I will put that out where I won't forget it. And then these are for you to put like ephemera, or sticker flakes. So I put little scrapbook papers behind them, and that is what is in here. So I have all kinds of like little ephemera pieces. So if I were going on a trip, this is all packed and ready to go for me to craft with. So I have those in this perfectly sized little bin that I got from Daiso, another place. If you have a Daiso near you, they're like a Japanese Dollar Tree. And this kind of, like, I wedge it back here. It's not something I reach for at all. It only has a very specific purpose for travel, so keeping it back there is totally fine. Down here this is a compartment box that I got from the Container Store. So I haven't seen anything like this anywhere. It has these little dividers you can stick in here. So this particular drawer was purchased specifically for my punches. So I wanted them, and it has rollers on it, so it rolls off your shelf really nicely. One of these bins also came from the Container Store, and I love these things. They have handles on them so that you can carry it. You can keep them in your car for your filing if you're like have a mobile office in your office. So I've been keeping my main projects in here. Like this is Camp Reset's handbook, and this is my planning from Camp Reset that I've been using to help me. So it's in here. I have my vision book is in here, and my little album. So these are here. And then finally I have this bin, and this has all of my magazines, my vintage magazines that you guys see me pulling out when I work on the Playbook. So I have those in here. I have papers like ledger paper, dictionary paper. I have a lot of the envelopes I was showing you earlier. This is like a scrap stash assortment of stuff that I pulled out of my scrap stash that is set up for travel. I also have the little accordion file in here, and then I have this accordion file, which I don't know if this is still available. I've had this for years. I love the size of it. It's like the perfect size. But it would be another way of storing ephemera. But I might actually use it for what it was meant for. So I rescued this out of it was in my storage, and I rescued it thinking I'm going to actually work on that this year. But we'll see. I buy a lot of, I have bought a lot of ephemera and stuff from like eBay, and sometimes they will put it like in packs, like plastic wrapping. So I have a mixture of stuff in here where it's like stuff I've purchased from sellers, and then have it, let me see if I have an example. So they'll like sell it to me in packs like this, and then I break it down into my scrap stash boxes. So ones that I haven't broken into yet, I'll just keep them in here. So this is sort of like my ephemera box, but I still try to keep it like a file system where I can kind of paw through it. So I have found that vertical storage, you know, being upright is like the best possible situation that you could have. Any way you can create vertical storage. So having boxes like this allows you to create that if you use any kind of folders, the plastic storage envelopes. So that to me is much more ideal than having this. So these are all flat, and so you could just see that that takes up way more real estate. This is my only flat storage that I have. And just for fun, let me take you and look at my palatial closet, because I actually did spend time doing this too while after our declutter day. So I did declutter my closet. I took all the clothes out that I wasn't wearing, that I had for like really cold climate in New England, that I actually didn't need to wear either. So I pared it all down to like my essentials. Here's my sweaters. Here's like long sleeve tops, and then short sleeve tops here. And then this whole section are all my TRG. A lot of these are like, they're my TRG raglan shirts. My little hats are up here. These are all my pants. This is all of my like exercise clothes, so they don't get worn much. My socks and my chonies are down here, and then my jewelry on that side. And then down here are all of like my t-shirts. I spent time like getting, these are all like my regular shirts. A lot of these you might see me wear on a live. And then these are my faith shirts. So I separate these out for chapel. And these are all my bras, sports bras. And then this is some of my pajamas. So I have pajamas here because you guys know that pajamas are the uniform of the introvert. And then all my other pajamas are in here. So I bought myself new pajamas for Christmas, like a lot of them, because after Christmas there was a lot on sale. So I had to put them into another bin. And then the bins back here do have organized craft supplies in here. This is like a lot of mixed media stuff that are supplies. Here's like some tech. Here's my original Alexa Dot. I have pouches. I have some of my... So I do have some things that are still in here. Here's all my ears. My ear wardrobe. And then all my pouches are back here. So I have pouches and ears in here. And then some things are not organized in any way, and nor am I going to spend time organizing them, because really at this point it's just storage. It's just stuff that I'm storing, and when I finally have a real craft room, I will unpack it all and spend time doing it there. I just don't find it to be useful to do it now. So that is my immediate little space, my little space here in the back of the RV. Yay!
Switch back to the other camera.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you want to hold this for a second?
I will hold that.
Maybe show that for another 3 seconds or something.
And then if this window cover comes up, then you guys can see. I think I lost the camera. That's the neighborhood out there. So I have to organize that little box over there. And thank you, Michelle. She says my slippers are adorable. So Miss I Love Chihuahuas, if you are purchasing the Harmony collection, the Harmony Retreat, today is the last day to get our early bird price. You would go to theresetgirl.com, click on the Harmony page, the little Harmony graphic, and it will take you to a whole page, and then you have a choice where you can say, yes, I'm in. And so once you purchase that, it will send a confirmation to your email, so you know that you have officially purchased it. And then shortly after that email, you'll get another email that says, welcome to the experience. And then you'll get another email that I had just sent out the other day. You'll get that email that says, here's the supplies that I'm recommending. So, the Preppy Crafty Girl says, how do you travel with all that stuff? Doesn't it fly all over the place? It actually does not fly all over the place. So what I do is all the stuff that you guys saw up on my tabletop, all of this actually goes down into the upper cabinets up here that are all kind of empty right now. So all of this has a home, and there's a cabinet here on this side down below that I didn't show you. It also fits down there. Stuff that's over here on this side, it all goes up there, and it all like sits on the floor. So nothing is flying around. It all it all belongs somewhere. And everything that I just showed you guys, Mr. Crafty has been like the little clear pockets, envelopes, all of those he's been posting in the group. And then we also have a Reset Girl, theresetgirl.com/favorites. There, if you go on my Reset, the Reset Girl, there is a little link there that says favorites, and that's where I have a lot of my favorites stuff listed. But Mr. Crafty, would you mind like reposting some of the links? So yay, Debbie's Therapy, thank you for signing up, girl. Thank you, Miss Diana. I did spend a good amount of time organizing it again, but it is easy to organize because I don't have everything out. I just have the most important things out to me. The things I felt like, okay, this is the stuff that I will most likely reach for, and the stuff that I'm going to use in this project, and this project. So I'm not trying to spread myself too thin and have too many projects going on. I'm going to try to stay very focused this time, and I'm really excited for that. So Denise says that she just made 100 Valentine cards to donate to a local nursing home. That is so sweet. That actually reminds me that I need to get our card making. I have a card making brigade initiative that
now it's back.
okay. would you mind reposting the envelopes, because those are to me the most important things, the envelopes, the accordion file, the receipt organizer, the tray. Haha, Kelly Bangs, you're so funny. Thank you, Justine. She says she loves my home. And Ariana, you asked if there was a link to shop all the recommendation, and yes. And we actually are building, so Amazon's really cool now. They call it their influencer program. So if you have like a YouTube channel or a website and you have affiliate links set up, they have this really cool feature now where you can basically create an Amazon store. And so it's all the stuff that I love and is all shoppable. So it's really easy to just click on things. And I tell you this truly, I don't ever put anything up there that I don't truly love. And I have bought everything I share with you guys. I have purchased. I don't have stuff on my Amazon store that I think, oh, that's just cute, that would be fun. I've bought them. I just have always kind of made it a rule for myself, really, is I don't really like taking things for free. I always feel like there's an expectation that I'll say positive things about it. And if I don't feel that way, I really don't even want to talk about the product or mention the product. So I just kind of felt from the beginning to not like take stuff from companies in general, because it's such a, I don't know, it feels awkward. I would rather just buy the stuff that I like and then just tell you guys. And if you like it, you like it. If you're not into it, you're not into it. So thank you, Mr. Crafty. He's put stuff back up in the chat room again. Ginger asked if I could repeat about the card brigade. So I'm going to be creating a card making brigade. We even have such a cute little graphic for it. It's to promote you guys making cards for the widows that we support in our ministry that we support as TRG. So a percentage of our sales goes directly to the ministry that supports widows, that takes care of widows in the Dallas area. So we have so many different craft supplies, and there's so many of us doing stuff that I really wanted us to start making cards that could be sent to Miss Craig, who runs the ministry, and she could mail these to the widows as needed. So that was something I'm got to get off. Oh, Kathleen says, woo, tornado siren went off. Oh my goodness. Good night, Wendy England. I'm so glad you're back and you're okay, Kathleen. That, I can't even imagine. Gracie says, may I ask, will YouTube be selling your beloved RV? That would be, I go back and forth, and then part of me does actually want to sell it. And then part of me says, well, if you sell it, then what will you stay in when you come visit your mom? So I think that's where Mr. Crafty and I are at, is our next step is to look to see if we can qualify for a house, and then to get a house, a small house, modest house. I'm just really looking for basics now at this point, and then we will decide probably if we're going to sell it or not, or if we're going to keep it for the periods of time that we come down and spend time with my mom, because that matters so much to me. Ever since I lost my dad, it's just even more important to me than ever before to try to spend time with my mom. One, so that she's not alone as much as she is. She gets a lot of visitors from my brother has 3 boys, and they all circulate time over here. They all love spending time with grandma. But I don't know. You know how it is. You're always concerned about your parent, especially my she was with my dad for nearly 50 years, and now she's by herself. So I just feel like we should be here. We should spend time here when we can. So awesome. Maria says, evening plans are canceled. The words that every introvert loves to hear. The plans are canceled. Amen. What's on Netflix? Yes, Maria says, sitting here with makeup on. Maria, you should take a selfie. Take a selfie and put it in your Playbook. Like, you have a whole memory keeping section in there. Put it in a traveler's notebook. But if you've got makeup on, girl, don't waste it. Take a good selfie and then scrapbook it. How often do we think to do that? I don't think to do that. So apparently there's a lot of tornadoes going on in our Midwest, and our friends there in the Midwest. We are lifting. I will be personally lifting you guys up in prayer, because I can't even imagine how scary that must be. Just the small glimpse of seeing the kind of storms you guys have. If you remember in the fall, and we were traveling through South Dakota, and there was a lightning storm. Those lightning storms continued all the way down through Minnesota. Like, we just continued on, and there was a tornado warning when we got to Minnesota. So I don't even know. It was so crazy seeing that type of storm. To see the entire sky, not just like a little zap in the distance, but the entire sky as if there's a war going on up there. It was amazing. It was amazing. I don't even know how you guys live there like that, year after year after year. And it's not just once a year. It's like several times a year you guys get the tornadoes going. I don't know how you guys do it. I honestly don't. That would be terrifying to me. I mean, I've lived in earthquake country, and people think the earthquakes are so terrifying, but really, in my entire lifetime, I have lived through the 3 major earthquakes on the West Coast, and I'm sorry. I mean, it's not the same as a tornado and the devastation they leave behind in a huge part of the state. I mean, I've seen the film. The biggest horrible earthquake we had here was back in 1989, when we had that horrible earthquake that made like the freeways just completely crash, shut here in the Bay, or there in the Bay Area. So, but you guys all the time have these amazing tornadoes that come through and they just devastate. And then the hurricanes on the East Coast. I just think you guys have way more danger than people think. Californians, or definitely Californians. I think they're the ones that always get the earthquake. Oh, it's so scary. It's not that scary, you guys. Not compared to what you guys go through at all. So, yes, I truly hope you guys are all safe. Karen says, I'm originally from Kansas, so we go outside when the tornado sirens go off. It's a skill. And see, isn't that interesting too? Is that I'm sure all of us as children, we all had to go through like disaster drills for certain things. So like we had earthquake drills, which I learned later in life, our earthquake drills weren't even safe. Like they would tell us to get under the desk. Now experts say, don't do that. You want to get parallel up to the back of something, so that if something crashes down, it creates a tent effect where you're underneath it. So they tell you now to get next to a couch, or get next to something that's taller than you are, so that when something comes down, it will actually crash down and keep you safe. I've seen several experts say that, and that's not at all how we were taught as children. So it's really interesting to see, as time goes on, how experts will kind of be like, that's not the best advice we could be giving. So, you can't live in fear. Exactly, Cozy. I mean, I don't ever think about it. The earthquake that, we went through in 89, people had different experiences depending on where you were. The town that I was in was near one of the main epicenters, and the entire town shut down, and the the National Guard had to be called in to create order, because there was so much like looting was beginning and stuff. So it's really interesting to see like what happens in our society when there's devastation. But hurricanes and earthquakes, hurricanes and tornadoes, from what I've seen, they're so devastating that an entire neighborhood, an entire town is wiped out. I think what California has things to be more scared of is the fires. California has crazy fires, just crazy, and as time goes on, they keep getting worse. So I think that is a thing to be more fearful of than an earthquake any day. So anyway, now that we're on the topic of natural disasters, back to our natural disasters of craft rooms. I hope that this has been enlightening to you guys, giving you some new things to chew on, make you look at your room differently, make you consider different choices, and that, between now, for those of you who've signed up for the Harmony Retreat, between now and then, it goes live on January 25th. between now and then, you want to really kind of assess setting yourself up for success, making sure that you're not, doing anything to kind of overwhelm yourself, trying to make some good decisions now so you can save your preserve all your decision-making power that you're going to need to spend, because once the retreat and workshops launch, you're really going to, have to make good decisions for yourself. Really get in there and watch your videos, watch your workshops, participate now and then with the lives. That's why I have them, so that you are like being accountable to yourself. You've said, yes, I want to invest in my self-care. Yes, I want to set myself up for success and keep my creative gift going. So that's something that you're going to be really struggling with. A lot of you is, showing up for yourself. You're not going to disappoint me. You're going to disappoint yourself in the long run, because that's what you've paid the money for, is like to be part of that experience. And I'm going to do my very best to really kind of help you and coach you, like I try to do, but to really help you make creating, a really solid part of your self-care routine, and that you really choose it over other activities that you could be doing that do not bring life. Let's face it, I'm saying this to myself too. Netflix binging is not life-giving. It helps you zone out. One could say that it is a mental health thing. One could make the argument for that hey, I just want to zone out. I don't want to think about my problems or my issues or what's going on. I just want to get lost in a show. That's generally why I watch stuff, is really to just veg out. What I'm saying is, let's not veg out. Let's turn that desire to escape. Let's turn that desire towards our craft space. And I'm saying that to myself as much as I am to you. Miss Megan says, I have so much peace and purpose in my craft room now. Thanks so much for doing Decluttering Day and Rebuilding Day. I hope this becomes an annual thing just like camp. Yay! Hi, Miss Carolyn. Miss Patty Elaine says, how do you organize stickers? I was showing earlier how I have like several different ways I organize them. If you go back, just like rewind back in the video and watch where I was giving you guys the little zoom around, I show multiple areas where I have my stickers that all oh my goodness gracious, I'm sorry, there's a little toddler that just ran out into the street, and I wanted to make sure an adult sees that he's running, and now he's running for the busier side of the street. Grab him. Oh my gosh. The grandma's out there. But he is fast, and he ran. That street is much.
So in other words, there's no reason for me to go. I'd never catch him.
No, honey, you wouldn't catch him in time. You'd need to tackle him too. He was wily. I gave my daughter one hard spanking, one big swat when she was 2 years old and ran out into the street. My parents lived on a very busy street. It took down 2 of our precious doggies, and that child ran out into that street, and that is the last time she did it. Oh my gosh. I'm not even that kid's mom or relative or anything, and my heart just went in my throat. Oh my gosh. Little kids. They'd be the death of us. They just don't think. They just run willy-nilly into the street. Oop, I hit my camera. Sorry. Oh, well, thanks, Carla. She says I'm looking good today. Thank you. So I really hope that some of the things I've shared with you is helpful, inspiring. I don't have like the fanciest setup. There's lots of girls with cooler, better craft rooms. But what I love, what I can say about my space is I have thought more in terms of functionality and what is like easy to grab. I'm a lazy crafter. I will say it over and over again. I am. So whatever I can like easily reach for, especially because I craft live so often with you guys, I just want to make sure it's all within hand's reach. It's not going to be complicated to put it away. It's really easy if I can just reach in and grab. Pretend as if you were going to have to do your crafting live on camera. What do I just want to be able to grab quickly so that people are not like, okay, enough time looking through your stuff. So if that helps you, and organizing is you want really quick, easy things to grab for. Do not put all of your stickers up there in front of you. Don't put all of your, your ephemera up there in front of you. Don't overwhelm and make the decision making harder. Give yourself a nice little, pretend you're making a building, like a little candy box with a little of this and a little of that. So when you have all your stickers up there, it's overload. But if you give yourself just the right amount of alphas, just the right amount of words, put those together. I like putting words and alphas together, and then I put functional stickers together, and then I put decorative stickers together. That's my only really organization, and then I have them in 3 different spots. So everything I can reach at any time. So if you have that ability to do that for yourself, to just be okay, I'm just going to wing in a prayer. I'm going to be crafted in 2020. That's what our mantra. We're just going to be getting our crafty on in 2020. That's what it's about. Every time we feel stressed, every time we are going through it, even when you're going through depression, and I have been there, my friend. I have felt like an absolute fraud being the reset girl for 2 solid years. Not crafting at all except for what you'd watch me do in a late night crafty club. And that was forcing myself. I'm talking about hours before the show would go live. I'm still well, what am I going to do? What am I going to show them? I'm not even crafting anything. I don't even have any good ideas. That's how bad it was. So I'm saying this from my heart to you. Even when you're going through it, and I staying attached, staying plugged in, just even watching the show, watching YouTube craft videos, going and looking at your Pinterest board full of pretty things, even the most minimal attachment that you can make, that rally yourself for, is keeping your brain engaged in the creative world. Do not shut yourself off from all of the inspiration. That's why I have books on my desk I was showing you. That just looking at pictures of other people's artistry. I'm going to teach you how to make those tools in your handbook so that when you are going through it, you will still have a little place where the strong, healthy you made tools for the you that's going through it. And we all do. Whether you have really diagnosed depression, we go through periods, we go through valleys. You can have stress instead of depression. That could be your thing. You could be having high levels of anxiety. It doesn't have to be depression, but all of whatever those things that manifest itself, it's because it's a symptom of something you're going through. Some of us turn to food. Some of us turn to, well, I don't think this community does, honestly, but some of us turn to drugs and alcohol. Some of us turn to different things to kind of numb it out. What I want to do is help you build some tools in your handbook, the Harmony Handbook, so that when you are not feeling motivated and you're not feeling inspired and fired up, that you still have built some stuff in here that's going to be okay, but I have this to start with. So I'm going to start here and I'm going to work with this. That is what the Harmony Handbook is going to be. I'm going to be building you, helping you build crafty tools and inspiration in here to get you through and inspire you through your physical health, through your mental health, and your emotional health. That is what this is for. So if you have not signed up for the Harmony Retreat, I would really consider, ask you to consider that. That this is an investment. You might not decide to go to camp in the summertime, and that's fine. This is all about helping you have success throughout the year. And I'm really excited for it. Who I am building this book for is the old Corey that I used to be. The Corey that for 20 years I was a creative person, but I never expressed it in crafting. I let perfectionism, I let comparison, especially when Pinterest showed up. I let comparison, I let all of that stuff stop me. And look what's happened because I pushed through it. Did I expect to have a huge Instagram account? Did I expect that you guys would show up if I put a video up on YouTube? No, I had no idea. I was just doing something to help myself. That's what I'm doing. I'm speaking to the old Corey I used to be, because a lot of you guys are that person. You're that person. You still have those issues. And some of you could run crafty circles around me. I'm never going to say that I'm like the craft guru. I'm not. Some of you have lots of things that you do for yourself already, and maybe the things that I suggest might not be, super inspiring to you, but I bet there's going to be something in here, something that I talk about that maybe you didn't consider before. So I believe very strongly in what I'm doing here. I believe that it can be helpful, and it's going to be like a little buddy to you no matter what projects or stuff that you're doing out here. I'm hoping that this is going to be a buddy to you in those areas of your life, your emotional life, your soul, your spirit, your mind, your mental health, and your physical health. Those are all areas that all of us want to have balance in. So that's what it's going to be for. And us doing this today was helping us get like a nice physical presence around us, have nice peace. We want to feel peaceful. Your room shouldn't be packed with stuff that overwhelms you. An overwhelmed mind does nothing. An overwhelmed mind does not craft. It does not create. It doesn't make good decisions. It makes bad decisions. You've depleted all of your decision-making powers when you are overwhelmed. So we want to do some things for the healthy you are today, so that when the overwhelmed you comes and picks up her little Harmony Handbook, she's going to look through the things that the healthy you did when you were in a good space, when you were in a good mindset, when you were like, yes, you are building a love letter to your future self. That is what I want you to think about. So today is the last day for the early bird special, and I always price my stuff to be as accessible as possible. Everyone tells me you're crazy. This is so underpriced, but my goal is to try to get as many people in touch with, the community, what we're doing, the fun of going to camp or retreat. You guys know, for those of you who have been, it is fun to picture yourself at a camp, at a retreat. It's fun to imagine that if we can't really be there in real life. So I do my best to build all of those visuals and music lists and videos and Pinterest boards. I give you all of the tools that I use to visualize a better place. And that's what the name of the game is of this year. It's about, the name of the game is Harmony, building harmony. And harmony, what it comes down to is it's a good balance of your mind, body, and spirit all together. So I am super, 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 I'm super grateful that so many of you have signed up, and I really, truly hope that some of you would consider doing so if you have not. Miss Sarah Burton, could you email me at slapithi@theresetgirl.com? I would like to share something with you. So please email me at slapithi@theresetgirl. And the ladies in this community, I am not the only cheerleader or encourager by a long stretch. I think encouragers have a special gift of, when one of them sends the little beacon out there, I feel like the other encouragers come to answer. It is what we're wired for. It is what we're here on earth for. We couldn't help encouraging if we tried. It's just in our DNA. It is who we are. It's who we were born to be. And there are so many lovely, encouraging women in this community. So being part of that private Facebook group, being part of the public Facebook groups that I have, being part of these chats, all of that is all to draw you guys into each other's little sphere, so that you have the opportunity to have influence on other ladies. You have the chance to be in here blessing girls, talking to them, sharing with them, and that's what I love so much about the Reset community. It is I might throw the camera on and we might go live, but I am not the star of the show. A lot of this comes from you guys just being so sweet and supportive of each other, and it's a wonderful thing to see. The internet has many negative things about it, but it's so awesome to see when it's all wonderful and positive, and we definitely will be sitting around singing Kumbaya in a minute. So anyway, I really just hope if you have it in you to invest in yourself, that the Harmony Retreat is one of those avenues to help you. And also, I meant to let you guys know that we are doing a less is more approach in 2020, but we are putting together a little mini collection, if you will. It will not be the full blown out collection that we normally were doing, but we are doing what we're calling the Harmony Kit, Whether or not you choose to go to the retreat, it's still going to be a beautiful little kit of decor that you can use in all of your projects, in the playbook, in your Bible journaling, in your in your layouts, in your scrapbooking, all the little endeavors you have. We are going to be releasing a fun Harmony kit, and that's going to be coming out. I don't have a date, but when you're on the TRG newsletter list, you will be the first to know. Here it is. I also post it in both of the groups, but I'll let you guys know as we get closer that that's happening. And just to reiterate, because I am about to boogie out of here, we do have a next weekend. We have a late night crafty club on Friday. We have a chapel crafting with Corey on Saturday, and we have a crafternoon with Corey on Saturday. So I have 3 shows next weekend. So if you are hearing me as a replay viewer and you're like, what is this reset community about? If you have watched this long, you're one of us. You need to be part of things. So if you have not got onto our text program, please do that so that you don't miss these 3 opportunities to be part of the live. You want to text TRG to 94253. Mr. Crafty, that is so sweet. Thank you very much for getting that up on there. It's so fancy now that we're all fancy again and we have like proper graphics and proper yumminess going up on our channel. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, and Mr. Crafty posted a link to the calendar, so you can go to our calendar. You can see those events are all up there. And one thing that YouTube has been doing, which I do not know, I haven't actually done it, so I don't know what happens. But if you go to my channel, when we have like something scheduled to go live, there's something we do. We like, I don't know what you want to call it, flip a switch or whatever. You can see that it'll say the Reset Girl Rebuild Day. There was a graphic for it, and it'll say set a reminder. So you can click it, and I don't know what it's going to do after you've chosen it. So yeah, let me know if anyone did that beforehand, because I should have done it for myself. Heather, you are asking me, does a notebook have to be dotted for Harmony? It does not have to be dotted. There are graph ones out there. The only thing I would say don't choose is blank, only because we're going to do writing in it. And I find that blank notebooks are a bit challenging. Personally, unless you love blank and you have the straightest handwriting ever and that doesn't bother you, or being whatever, then I suppose that's fine. It's just a little harder to because I'm going to give you elements. So because the bullet journalers are so amazing, they hand draw everything. Well, I don't have time for that, so I am designing some pieces ahead of time, and you'll just basically paste them in your book. We're going to have a cheater bullet journal is what we're going to have, but we're not using it for a planner or anything like that. So it is basically the notebook that bullet journalers use, but we're going to do other fun things in it. So, but yes, if you love a blank page, then definitely get that kind. I picked, what's most important is choosing books that fit within the size that I mentioned. I was very specific about how tall they should be, no shorter or taller than this, because we're making you pages that you'll actually paste into your book. And I'll give you a little sneak peek. So we made you some fun little pages that you'll create in here. Okay, I'm changing the thing. There you go, Mark. So here is an example of it's kind of like a divider, if you will, but it's kind of dividing the subject matter. So we made you some fun little, kind of like the Playbook dividers. That's what we've made some. So you can make your own and create your own organization too. But then we have those pre-made. That's why I'm kind of specific about height and that kind of thing. So anywho, the way to sign up for the Harmony Retreat is going to theresetgirl.com, and you will see that up there. And then I have already sent out the supplies list page and your welcome email. So if you sign up today, you will still get all of those things. Don't worry. If you signed up yesterday, you will still get all of those things. You will get all the stuff you need. And thank you, Miss Sarah. So, and you really have to ask yourself, if you see what people do in a bullet journal and you're fine with doing those type of activities in a lined book or a blank book, it is totally preference. So if it's okay with you, I personally wouldn't like a lined journal. I like the dotted and grid, because when I put down the images, the lines, that kind of, I don't know what it is about it, but it bugs me. But that's me, and everyone's different. So I don't want to tell you you can't use other types, but I gave my recommendations based on the fact that I've actually purchased them, I own them, I tested them, I know the quality. This one is like, oh, I have 2 of these now because I love this particular one so much. And this one, which is also one of the recommendations, it's got like a kind of a, it looks like bark, kind of. It has like a barky, like a tree bark pattern to it. And it's perforated, so the pages actually can tear out very easily. It has a pen loop. It's divine. So it's another one of my favorites. I'd hoped to do a video of just showing you the books and then do a video of the pouches that I recommended. I will see if I can get that done. To me, it's not a deal breaker. You guys can pick whatever book you want, but I just needed to give you guys some what do you call it? Some recommendations. I'm losing my vocabulary. Okay. All right. I'm trying to remember. Is there anything else I need to say to you guys? Okay. So if you are looking for my notebook recommendations and you signed up for the Harmony Retreat, all of that stuff has been emailed to you. If you just signed up today, give it a while. The emails that I've already sent out will start arriving to you, so you will not be left out. And eventually what will happen is when we get some time, we're going to have a full-blown Amazon store that I will release. The notebooks that I have recommended, they'll be in it, as well as pouches will be in it, as well as all the favorites that have on our favorites page will all be in it. And these are things I have purchased myself, love, use constantly, like use all the time. With very few exceptions. If I'm not using the thing that I recommended, it's just that I'm not in that season of crafting. That's not the season I'm in, but it was extremely helpful. I don't just put stuff that I think is like, oh, well, that's really cool, and yeah, that's cool too. These are things that I actually love. They're favorites. I just wouldn't steer you guys into stuff that I haven't purchased personally. I always test stuff myself because I just want to know. I want my money to be in the game. I want my skin to be in the game before I tell you that you should get it. If someone gave it to me for free and then I'm telling you guys, oh, it's so great, that just, I don't know, that just kind of rubs me the wrong way. The only product that I ever accept, and it's because I purchased it myself and loved it and promoted the out of it, is Power Sheets. And Laura Casey's team is very sweet, and every year they ask me. Sometimes I've said no, and this year I decided, you know what, I'm going to pull the trigger. I'm going to go ahead and get it. So they did give it to me, but I am not giving you guys my affiliate link for it. I'm not trying to make money off of it. I've just let you guys know, hey, I have a Power Sheets. I'm going to use it this year. I did promote it on the day it was on sale. Like, that is literally the only thing I can think of that's outside of that exception. I think Power Sheets is a fantastic tool. From the minute I tried it back in 2015, I think was the first year I did it, and it's the best it's ever been. The quality of it, all of it, the best. I will have to do a review on it, but I'm not even giving you guys my affiliate link. I don't know what it is about stuff like that. I don't feel that way about Amazon affiliate links because that's what just the Amazon platform just makes that possible, and it's great. But again, I don't ever tell you guys use them. You have to use my affiliate links. I don't think that's the right thing to do. And if there's something cheaper and better out there that you guys like more, by all means. These are just things that I am a huge Amazon shopper. That's just, it's convenient for me. So that's where we go. So boy, I am just way all over the place. Thank you, Sharon. So Sharon confirmed she just bought the Harmony Experience and all the emails came already. Thanks. Yay. The preppy crafty girl says, I'm using mine from 2016 that I never used. That is an awesome idea. I actually have like the one that I didn't use, I still have in my stash because they really are pretty easy to use outside of the year. I mean, other than like whatever they print on the cover, if it has the year, I don't feel like it's one of those things you should throw away just because you didn't use it. It's very valuable. Yes, so many of us purchased it. I was like, I remember I was kind of like that planner person in the planner community that was really like, oh my gosh, you guys, the power sheets are the best. And it was like big how many people were like, yes, power sheets, it's the answer to everything. So I feel like that's why they're like, hey, Corey, thanks a lot. And then after that, I never ever used the little affiliate code they gave me and everything. I was just like, I just love that product, and I would love to support Laura Casey. I think that she's someone, a role model for me personally. I just think I look at her brand and what she's done, and I just think that they're an awesome group. So, okay, so there was an undated version. I did not know that. All right, so guys, I have given you all the goodies, all the things I can possibly shake out of my brain today about organization, encouraging you to look at stuff. You still have, today's the 11th, and the retreat does not launch until the 25th. So you could have like 2 full weeks of assessing, looking through things. Take your time, but think again about decision fatigue and how it's a thing. It's a real thing. And you want to be able to have you want to remove as many objections between you and your crafting as possible. So overwhelm is one thing, having to pack up and then, spread out, pack up, spread out, pack up, spread out. You want to alleviate that. Truly, truly try to alleviate that. Try to find a way to fit a table in your house where you can just be, I'm a crafter here. This is my craft space. It does not have to be fancy. It does not have to be a craft room. It can be a craft corner. And yes, being sent to your corner is a good thing. It's about making good choices. You can choose to veg out with Netflix. I'm not judging it because I often do it. Or you can choose to spend some time getting into a stress-free mode in your craft space. The more time you put between now and the 25th, just use that as like a deadline to yourself. Even if you're not going to the retreat, use it as a deadline. The more you can do for yourself between now and the 25th to help yourself, your future self, make good decisions and choose crafting as a means to like alleviate stress, because you will be stressed. You will have down days. You will have days where you feel like you're rock bottom. You feel like you can't put one foot in front of the other. There have been times, that if you look back over your life, there are some things that we go through it. There are different ways that you can get through things. One of them could be crafting. One of the ways you choose could be a healthy choice. Wouldn't I much rather choose crafting than eating a hamburger and French fries or ice cream or brownies or any of the other things that my body's like, oh, please eat the food. Eat the food. I will feel better, except I won't feel better. I'm making myself fatter. I'm making myself feel older. I am not doing any good for my body doing that. So I want to make better choices. And I'm not the kind of person that runs off to go walk or to go for a run because I feel the way I do. And I haven't been the kind of person that runs to crafting, but I want to make that. I want to be a new Corey in 2020, and I want you to be that. You be new in 2022. If that hasn't been something you've been doing, it's something you could be doing. It's a different option to help you through the different ups and downs of life that are inevitable. The Lord said it, like in this world you will have trouble. Here is the truth of the truth. In this world you will have trouble. So here's our opportunity to make a good choice for ourselves and choose the good thing. It's like choosing the vegetables. It's choosing the salad over the French fries. So, and some of you girls have mastered this. And if that's you, I hope you join, because you can be such an inspiration to the other ladies like myself who still choose the French fries. So let's turn crafting into yummy, delicious golden French fries. Let's make it be as tantalizing as an ice cream sundae. Let it be the thing that you reach for instead of the things that keep you back, make you sick, make you feel like laying on the couch longer. All the things like depression doesn't need junk food. It needs the yummy serotonin flowing through your brain to help you get out of that fog. The same thing with stress, anxiety, all those things that cloud us up. That's what it does. Let us reach for the crafting. Crafting is the new French fries, girls. So, and I know of what I speak because I know this is like for a lot of us, that is what as a go-to comfort food. Let's comfort crafting. It's a new thing. Kelly, I need a t-shirt. Hashtag comfort crafting. Okay, I'm sending Kelly a text message in case she's not on here anymore. So I am laughing about it, but I'm not laughing because I really do want us to think of it that way. That is why this is so important to me. That's why we had Declutter Day, Rebuild Day, and that is the point and the purpose of the Harmony Retreat. So today's the last day for early bird pricing. The price does go up, and it doesn't go up substantially. I'm going to be honest. It doesn't really go up substantially. I want to say it goes up. Mr. Crafty, does it go up? How much does it go up? Before I say it, because I think I'm wrong.
I don't know.
Okay, can you look? We don't even know. Wow, we're so on top of it. Veronica says I'm making her hungry. I'm hungry too. I haven't eaten today, so maybe that's why I'm so thinking about food. Woo! So yes, Laura says crafting is the new French fries. It is. Oh, one of my favorite junk foods is French fries. Well done French fries. Yes, Michelle, we need a card too. Okay. Miss Virginia, we don't have the Amazon store live yet. So what I would encourage you to do is go to the resetgirl.com. And if you click on, I have a favorites page. If you click on that, that will take you to all of my current favorites. The things I truly love, the things I will support. In fact, a couple things that I had loved once and I don't even think I owned them anymore, I actually removed them. The retreat goes from $29 to $35 tomorrow. So after midnight tonight, the price goes up to $35. So it is a $6 difference. That's like the price of a hamburger, like a Whopper. I need to eat lunch. So as you can see, it is not a huge difference. I think generally our early bird prices tend to be about $6 difference. So Kelly says, comfort crafting, no Thanksgiving pants allowed. I know, right? I have like a crafting wardrobe and it's all like leggings and oversized shirts. Yay! Kay Laston on 100 says, just signed up for the Harmony Retreat. Yay! So everybody, those of you who have signed up for the Harmony Retreat, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for doing that. Not just because it is a way to support the Reset Girl brand, obviously, but thank you so much for trusting me with this. And I truly hope with all my heart that I am able to, like, in my heart, convey these different tools and ideas that I have that I believe to be very helpful and will help you. And it's kind of hard to explain it in a sales page. So after we're done with the retreat, getting your feedback would be awesome, because then that will help me kind of shape how I describe it and how I explain it the next time. So there you go. Kathleen says the Impossible Whopper is really good. It is so good. The Impossible Whopper is like the non-meat version. It is fantastic. Another great one, if you guys are interested, is the Beyond Meat burger at Carl's Jr., because both of those places they flame broil it, so that's kind of the flavor you're getting, and they're so yummy, really yummy. We need to stop talking about food, you guys. Megan says in the South we call those our Lenten pants. Our Lenten pants. You Southerners have the best expressions. Seriously. I don't think we say anything as funny as Southerners do in the West Coast. And I speak for the West Coast when I say that. Sorry, guys. I could be wrong. I don't think I've ever heard anything as funny as what the Southerners come up with. Okay, so I hope you guys are super excited for the Harmony Retreat. Please mark your calendars. Next Friday is Late Night Crafty Club. Next Saturday is Chapel Crafting with Corey first, and then Crafternoon with Corey. Crafternoon with Corey is kind of like all business. It's kind of more like, what do I say? More chit, less chat. So it's like, let's just get down with the get down. So if you are like, Corey, I love you, but all the meandering talking is a bit much for me, which if you are listening to this right now, I doubt you're that person, but for watching on the replay and you had to fast forward quite a few times, this is your show. This is the live show for you. I designed it for the girl who's just like, I just want to get to the crafting, littlest chat. So that's why it exists. So I'm there for you. I will stifle it in for you and just be like, let's just focus. Because I have not crafted in my playbook since the last time I did it on air, which was the last Late Night Crafty Club. So yeah, the launch party. And I'm so ready to get in it. I'm ready to get into my playbook. So let's do it next Friday. And I love your faces, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging. Karen says, I don't think anything can replace French fries. Amen, girl. So on this lovely Saturday afternoon here, it is 2:20. So I have been on this live now for 3.5 hours. So I feel like I have imparted everything I got for you guys. And now we're all talking about food. So I think it's time for those of us on the West Coast to get some lunch, get a meal in us. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me all this time. I love that. If you missed the beginning of the live, I encourage you to go back. I showed a desk tour. I shared some what I consider to be important tips, things for you to mull over and think about very practically about how you can set yourself up for success. We talked about decision fatigue, real things, like real facts on this show. Not all chat. There was #facts. So I just want you guys to have your best crafty year. I truly do. So please show up next weekend. I can't wait to see your faces again. This is always fun. I did schedule quite a few lives this month, even though I have all the retreat stuff going on. But I really do miss you guys after a while. I feel like 2 weeks is too long sometimes. So have a great rest of your weekend. Rest up, get refreshed, do some mulling, make yourself a list. It starts with a list. What do I need to get myself set up for crafting? If nothing else this weekend, at least get a list going if you actually have not dived in. Gather up shoe boxes, go look in your garage, your basement, look for boxes you can use for filing, look at file folders, what can you get from the dollar store, go cheap if you need to, but set yourself up for success. I love your faces. I can't wait to see you guys at the retreat, and I can't wait to see you next weekend. Well, we'll be crafting, a whole weekend of crafting. So, I got nothing else to say, except I love you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next live. Goodbye, everybody. Mwah. Bye, everybody. Bye. Goodbye. 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 Goodbye.